What is good, everybody? Welcome back to the NA Pro Report. My name is Wk3, here to bring your weekly coverage of the biggest players and the biggest plays in North American Free Fire. We are officially at the halfway point of our group stage for Season 2 of the Free Fire Pro Series. It was a banger set of games. If you missed them, definitely go check out the VODs and make sure you don't miss any more of these games. The games were really top-notch quality and the players are playing out of their minds. So much so that we're going to be covering every one of those game days day by day to see who the big winners were and what the standout performances were. At this point, we've had every team face every other team in a 12-team lobby at least once, and we're going to run it back over the next 2 weeks once again to see which teams end up at the top qualifying directly for the finals, which teams end up in the LCQ, the last chance qualifier, and which teams will be eliminated from the tournament. Let's get rocking with the week 2 games, starting off with day number 4. Day 1 of week 2, we had Team 999 really heating up their weekend to what would end up being a really hot weekend. We will talk about that later, but Team 999 finally showing up, our top qualifiers from the open qualifier, really just dominating, finally showing up in the group stage and putting up some wins. DN Esport, a squad that we haven't really talked about. They haven't had the spotlight very much, but they definitely had the spotlight on day number 4, picking up 2 booyahs of their own. And rounding out the winners for day number 4, we had USA and Virus Gaming picking up wins as well. Now for day number 5, it was definitely not as varied in terms of winners because Fuego and Atomic split the booyahs right down the middle, 3-3. They split the wins on Bermuda. Atomic took down Kalahari and Fuego cleaned up both games on Purgatory. So really dominant from both of those squads, definitely cementing their place near the top of the leaderboard, as we will see a little later in the report. So yeah, day 5, a bit of a wash for a lot of the other squads in the Free Fire Pro Series. And we rolled into day number 6, which was the big day, as Team 999 picked up 3 booyahs. You heard it right. 3 wins for Team 999, a team that just hadn't found any success earlier in the group stage, just absolutely rolling all of the teams in their lobbies and picking up a lot of kills to make sure that they found their way higher up on the leaderboard, as opposed to, where they were a little bit earlier, not so hot of a start. IT Official finding a win on that day as well. And of course, beside Esports, our returning champions finding 2 booyahs of their own. But it was definitely 999's day. Let's check out how they cleaned up some of the games across day number 6 and honestly just moved up the rankings at the end of week 2.
Straight up snatching it from him. Jeff should be able to get a second place for Zundel. Oh, we need to hit these shots. Okay. Quick little 360 there with the shotgun. Sent 2 up close in the front lines to get within that range of the time turners and glue walls, and then step 2 in the back lines to play that oversight position. But now, late game, 2 teams to go. 999 looking for that booyah.
Narrowly missed out on it last game. 1 kill and 2 kills. They will take the booyah, and it's Team 999's 3rd in 4 games.
999.
Absolutely beautiful stuff there from Team 999. But it hasn't been enough to vault them into the top 3. They jumped to 5th place, but with a performance like that, they were maybe hoping for more. So we'll see if they can continue heating up. We'll see if they continue giving these top teams a run for their money as we walk into the second half of the group stage. Or truly sprinting right into it. It seems like everything's going so quick. So Team 999, definitely keep your eyes out on them. But we will roll into our top shoutouts from there. Our midseason shoutouts will be the teams that are currently dominating the FFPS, teams you'll definitely want to watch out for, and teams that are already vying for their spots in the grand final of Season 2. So let's go ahead and chat about them. In 3rd place, we have Atomic Esports. With returning champion Abreu, Atomic continues to do what they do very, very well since the start of the tournament, and that is to play deep zone. They are in very great spots very early and able to just hang out in the mid game, poke teams out here, do damage out there. They're really great at just holding the center of these zones, which is getting them very decent placements. Not as many booyahs as they probably wanted, but still a very respectable amount with kills to match. So Atomic, one of your top teams for sure. Keeping things hot, we've got Fuego. Fuego continues to heat up, especially after that week 2 performance. If there were any doubters, they better have been silenced after what was a crazy week 2. They are currently in second place with tons of kills, currently the most booyahs out of any team in the FFPS with 6. So making it look really good with their edge sort of style, not quite on the edge, but more inside of the zone on the edge. They are punishing teams that are rotating late and picking up a lot of kills, absolutely farming some of the lobbies in some cases. So again, a team that is finding a lot of booyahs and a lot of kills to match. Fuego is keeping things hot, and the competition is only going to heat up more and more as we approach the second half of the group stage. Now for our top team. If anyone was surprised, I'm truly disappointed because it's Beside Esports. Our returning champions are at the top of the stack. I can't help but get super excited because this squad is just looking ridiculous, and who is going to stop them? I want to know. I'm sure everyone in the FFPS wants to know. They are doing just so many things right. The way that they play their spots is clinical. They are finding great mid-game rotations. They are finding great end-game spots. Again, a team that isn't finding as many wins as they were in Season 1, but with their adjustments, they are definitely finding a lot of kills to more than make up for those performances. They have plenty of Booyahs 5, in fact, so they're definitely still big winning and currently at the top of your standings. Pretty much throughout every single week so far that we've had in the FFPS, they've just been very dominant. They were at the top during week 1, at the end of week 1, and they are still on top at the end of week 2. So is anyone going to take them down? Where are the Titan Slayers that we need to see Beside get taken down a peg or two? We'll have to find out, and someone will have to come along, because if not, they're going to continue this run straight to the finals and try and do the back-to-back for the first time ever, also earning an invite to the World Series, perhaps. I don't know. Don't want to gas them up too much because there is still a lot of play to be had for the FFPS. Of course, we've got 2 more weeks of 3 game days, so a lot can happen. But Beside, man, I expected them to come back dominant, but not this dominant. The rest of the NA team's got to wake up a little bit. And with that, we'll roll into our mid-season call-outs. So definitely going to call some teams out, because there are some of the teams that we definitely like to watch, some teams that are trying some interesting approaches to the game, though not to the best successful stories so far. But let's talk about these teams. Not going to cover them too much because I want to shout them out, just give them a little bit of encouragement, and y'all should too, because they made it all the way here from either an open qualifier or back from Season 1, so we know they can play Free Fire. They just got to clean things up a little bit. Got Big Drip at the very bottom, Brothers YT right above them, OG Wipe Gang, and unfortunately SKB Esports are returners from Season 1. All of these teams have things that they can do differently, a lot of them having to do with drop spots. Definitely Brothers YT taking this strange approach to dropping Blue Zone, which we've seen work for squads like R15, but they are not making it look as good and often losing these contests. In fact, losing contests has been one of the biggest punishments that these teams at the bottom have suffered, so they definitely need to fix their gameplay a little bit. They need to take a different approach to the whole thing, and I can definitely see this team succeeding. There are 6 game days left for them to make their case and avoid elimination. So currently, if we were to end the season here, these were the teams that would be eliminated. Hopefully that's enough motivation for them to pick it up and really succeed in the second half of the group stage. Before we wrap things up today, I definitely want to shout out some players. We've talked a lot about the teams and the leaderboard and the booyahs and yada yada yada, but we need to shout out the players that are making a huge difference, not just on their teams, but across the FFPS. So starting off with one shout out that was definitely heard many a time during week 2, Mr. T from Team 999. Beautiful performance to really kickstart Team 999's road to success, hopefully for the rest of the season, and bringing back the entire team from the brink of death multiple times in week 2. The team was down to just one person, often Mr. T, but they were able to use the revival points to pick up the whole team and either top 3 the lobby or in many instances actually outright win it. So great recovery potential and a lot of it off the back of Mr. T. Our top shout out though and this will come as no surprise to many people who have tuned into the FFPS Season 2 so far. Adiel from Pisara Esports. Beautiful, clinical, brutal, the current reaper of the Free Fire Pro Series with 52 kills, your top killer and one of the top performers in the FFPS for sure. Certainly this team is grateful to have Adiel on the squad because he is destroying people left and right. If you're on the edge, you're going to get bullied. If you're in zone, your team is going to get pushed, and Adiel might be at the front of that charge ready to take you down with grenades and gunfire galore. So watch out for Adiel. You definitely don't want to be facing them in a straight up 4v4. And one last shout out, this isn't going to be to the players, but actually to the people in the chat, to the people joining us for the broadcast. Thank you all. Thank you to everyone who tunes into the videos. You will make all the difference. I'm sure the players and the teams appreciate it. And we at the FFPS, we definitely appreciate it too. So join us on these broadcasts Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for the next 2 weeks of the group stage on YouTube and on Twitch. Of course, after that, we will have the last chance qualifier and the grand finals. So hopefully I'll see y'all in the chat. Definitely go talk some smack, keep it respectful, but let them know who you're cheering for. I'll see you guys in the chat. My name has been Wk3. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you all next week.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Free Fire Pro Series. We're back to bring you more action, more talent, and even more booyahs for the best teams in North America. On top of a whopping $50,000 prize pool and the bragging rights of being crowned the FFPS Grand Champion, this season the winners will also earn the first ever North American invite to the Free Fire World Series. But before they get there, teams will have to fight their way through a grueling 2-month tournament, including an open qualifier, group stage, last chance qualifier, and grand finals. The action started earlier this month with the open qualifier, where 192 teams from all across North America joined the FFPS for the first stage of the tournament. Each qualifier round featured 6 games, where teams earned points based on their in-game performance, including their placement and their kills in the 12-team lobbies. Only teams in the top half of their lobby moved through each of the qualifying rounds, making their way through the round of 192, the round of 96, and the round of 48. The bottom 6 teams from the Season 1 Grand Finals joined the top 30 from the round of 48 and the last open qualifier round, the round of 36. The 18 teams left standing from the final round earned their spots in the group stage. For the group stage, the top teams from the open qualifier will be joined by even more invited teams from Season 1. The top 6 teams from the Season 1 Grand Finals will qualify straight into a 24-team group stage, alongside the open qualifier teams from Season 2. Teams will be split up into groups of 6, and these groups will face off in a double round-robin format where each group will battle each other in a 12-team lobby twice. This stage will take place across 4 weeks, with 3 game days per week. In the end, the top 8 teams will punch their tickets straight to the finals. The 9th through 20th place teams will earn one last shot in the last chance qualifier, and the bottom 4 teams will be eliminated from the tournament. The Last Chance Qualifier will be a 2-day gauntlet where teams that fail to qualify from the group stage will get their last chance to earn a place in the finals and fight for the title of FFPS Grand Champion. 12 games will give the top 4 teams a shot in the finals, while the remaining teams will be eliminated. The Grand Finals will pit the top 12 teams in North America against each other in a 3-day event. 6 games per day for a total of 18 games will be played for teams to claim their piece of the $50,000 prize pool and for a grand champion to be crowned. Which squad will reign supreme and get their chance to represent North America in the World Series? Tune in to find out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Free Fire North America Pro Series group stages. My name is Porsaurus. Joining me is Dryad for today's day of games. Boy, I'm stumbling all over myself days, already. Yeah. Because we've been waiting here so long. We're so ready to get into these games, guys. I know you guys are too. But yeah, groups A and B today. So we saw a lot from Group A yesterday, and in particular, we saw Pisada just kind of hopping off and looking absolutely devastating.
Yeah, I was watching yesterday. I saw that first game and the way that they won that first game, that was absolutely insane. It was like the last second things that happened. Yeah, I know you guys were talking about the zone and everything going on and a lot of lucky situations. But I mean, overall, we know that Pixar has been one of the contenders there for the top one, the conversation that everyone has. And it just seems like every broadcast we bring them up. And especially today, right? We get to see them again more.
Absolutely. We'll see how much they can grow their lead. Well, before we get into those first games, let's take a look at what they're fighting for. We've got the prize pool for these grand finals, $12,500 for first place, $500,000 in total. In addition, you have the individual bounties over there on that right side. Kill Machine, Lethal Killer playing for first, and Booyah Team. But the big prize, of course, is that first place will be getting an invitation to that Free Fire World Series, and that's what all these guys are playing for.
Yeah, absolutely. So more than anything, you want to get that first place for multiple reasons. So you get the money, you're also, able to just have that pride of getting that first place. So just guaranteed a lot of confidence when the time comes after those group stages and after we go to the LCQ when everything gets closer to the grand final. You want to make sure and you want to have the confidence in individually and even in the group that your team has already proved themselves to be the best and they can continue being the best in stages where even if things change, like we've seen week after week, it doesn't matter. Your team is going to be on top. Your team is able to adapt the best. So that is what we see all the very, very strong individuals doing the more that we get to see, especially because we are in the more than halfway through, right? So a lot of things that we already got to see, but a lot of things that we're missing as well, and a lot of chances as well for those that are at the bottom to move at least to the middle to get a chance for the last chance qualifier.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the groups so you can see everybody that's playing again today will be groups A and B. But as Dryad said, it's the top 8 that get the free pass onto those grand finals. But then from 9th to 20th place, will have a chance to still make that grand final by fighting their way through a last chance qualifier. You just don't want to be down in 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. That's not where you want to be, because then your tournament will be done. There you go. You get to see the overall leaderboard. Pizarro obviously holding the lion's share of the points. Fuego made a valiant effort yesterday, but still very, very far behind. But when we start looking at the cut lines, Dryad, that's where it starts getting a little bit more interesting, around that 8th place and 20th place spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like that there's so many chances as well. But it's just those bottom 4 that are going to be struggling the most, and everyone is so close in those points that things get so difficult. So we see number 19 and number 20, for example. 123 points, and it's just a matter of getting those kills, a matter of having that confidence to step up, and not only to, you don't want to be sweating every game to make sure that you're just barely passing that line. You want to have the confidence that you're at least in that 15 and up position, and that is what everyone is trying to get. That is why I think it's so important that the stage that we're in right now, almost, we're over halfway through. It's the last couple weeks as well to adapt, to change whatever is going to be needed, and to have a confidence that you're not going to be in that bottom 4 we've been looking at, they've been struggling so much, a lot of mistakes, especially early on, that are causing all of these teams to get taken down so early.
Yeah, and even from yesterday, we saw what a difference that one day can make. I mean, you look at Navy Esports, came into yesterday in 15th place, but had a banger of a day yesterday, and now find
Yeah.
themselves in the top 8. Now they still have a lot of games left to play, so we'll see if they can hold on to it. But even if you are a little bit further down on the leaderboard, it's comforting, I'd say, at least, to know that one really, really good day could put you right where you want to be,
Yeah.
especially now with this new revive mechanic that we've got.
Yeah, even though the scary thing here though is that one bad game, one bad day can cost you so much as well. So
That's true.
it just being in a strong position, I would say maybe top, 5, obviously where everyone wants to be, gives you more confidence and we start seeing the difference after you pass those 200 points the teams have right now. I mean, this 300 for the two at the top two that have been a topic of conversation. But is the the consistency that everyone, both individually and as a team, needs to have. And we were talking a little bit, there's some variety, there's some players coming in and out depending on the day, depending on the map that we go into. And I feel like that plays a part into, you want to be as consistent as possible. And there's been a lot of inconsistency, like you said, some teams starting very, very low, they looking so much stronger, but you just want to have at least that middle confidence every single time.
So there's still a lot of Free Fire left to play. Obviously today, we're ready to get into game 1. That's what that yellow screen means. So we are ready to pop off these games today. Now we are going to be playing 6 matches, 3 matches. The first 3 matches will get you back to back. We'll take a quick break, come back, and wrap it up on the final 3. Now we are playing 3 different maps as well. We'll be starting off on Bermuda before switching over to Kalahari and finally wrapping everything up on Purgatory. But with the new revive mechanic that we've been kind of introducing here, a lot of these teams may be taking a little bit longer to incorporate that into their gameplay style. And we started to see our points numbers really starting to go way up. Like now it's not terribly uncommon to see a 20+ point game for the top 1, 2, or 3 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just everyone discovering how that revive mechanic can work for them. And that just depends a lot on that mid game, especially getting a lot of kills, keeping one of your members alive, and making sure that the revive is going to be able to come through. It's been benefiting teams, and the teams at the top, they already figure it out.
Uh-oh. Now this is the same story as yesterday for Club 9D, running into early game fighting. This time it's going to be OG, and they will find 2 right off the bat. Jay and Feverful both taken down. 9D taken low, but no losses just yet. It looks like OG is just going to dip on out. Payne and Daly still alive, but they are on their way away. So good start here for Club 9D.
Is a good way to start it off. And I love that early action that teams can bring to the table. It's so nice. Again, it's all depending on the kills. There's so many points that you're able to get early on. But that also depends on the positioning that you take and who is able to get that positioning first, as we can see.
What happened there? It looked like IT Official ran into TK, took out 2 of them, and Beto ran up the zip line and was immediately followed by the TK boys, but they decided to avoid him altogether. So it looks like IT Official now still on the hunt for these final 2 players of TK. While this is all going on, the first circle does pop, and we are going down to the southwest, kind of centering up just off to the west of Clock Tower.
This is going to be a really nice one as well for IT and what they're able to do into this one. We know that they've been struggling. They haven't had the most consistency like we talked about. So having an early and a strong drop to just capitalize from and just capitalize as well from the kills that we talked in the mid game is going to be everything for them, as information here can be everything. And just wrapping around, yesterday we saw a lot of teams getting surrounded pretty much in those towers that I got to see. That is something that you don't want to let happen early on, right? You want to have all the area possible. You want to have one of your team, one of your members all the way back, making sure that the flank is going to be watch is going to be covering. You're not going to get surrounded and just taken down so early on.
Mm-hmm. Well, looks like TK is going to find their way over to a res point. OG, meanwhile, was able to get the revive onto Fearful, so most likely we'll be able to get their team back up to full. That looks like Daly. Trying to wrap that one up right now. Meanwhile, VG and Big Drip starting to get a little bit close here. The drones are out, but it's just going to fall on the outside. They're not going to spot Big Drip coming up here. You can see Feverful. He's all by himself. I mean, he just dropped. He just came back in. So maybe spotted out a few players and trying to avoid the conflict for right now.
Yeah, you want to avoid that situation as well. And the situation that we're on right now, it's a little bit past the early action that we got to see. Now everyone approaching that mid action that again the revives have been a key part of allowing that to happen.
Well, it looks like TK maybe not as fortunate. They got their revives off, but their 2 revived players dropping right on top now of VG. You can see Zutu and up top. Kind of going into this compound. Not sure they were spotted out though, so maybe getting a little bit lucky. But they are very much split from their other 2 teammates who have VG and OG in between them.
And it can be those situations where even time is not going to play to their favor. A lot of tension that can happen when you have those players split. And the early taken down set. Even with the resurrection, it's the ability to play together as a team that have been doing so much for the teams at the top, right? We talked about Bizarre. They always have at least 1, 2 playing together, and everyone just watching angles, being hyper aware of all the caution that can happen.
Speaking of Bizarre, it looks like they're starting to creep over into Skullbreaker's territory over in Clock Tower. We'll have to keep an eye on that while we watch what's going on the outside here. It looks like VG and TK have run into each other. If VG figures out that is a duo from TK, it could be bad news. Meanwhile, the other duo from TK is going to run into one. They'll get the trade immediately. Tank will find one, but does go down. Now, got the glue wall to protect him for right now. We'll try to go for the res, but not going to get it before he gets flushed out from the side. Good work from OG to clean this up, and now it looks like it's just a matter of time before Mannix is crashed. He's going to get it. Yep, there he goes. Good shotgun work from OG. But now they have to make their way in, and they are very far outside of the circle.
It is a long way to go as well, and you can find some enemies as you get closer and closer. We got to see it in the early action, taking them one by one here. A lot of that zone closing. Again, this is something that we saw yesterday. The zoning and putting that damage can also benefit teams to be in the perfect situation to take down the enemy so much quicker. And I feel like it can also be a strategy that we have to account for the more that we get to see it getting close.
Yeah, it looks like VG was able to find out the other duo from TK. So TK, our first team out. While on the other side, in the middle of the map, it looks like DK tried to go for a long jump from the jump pad, and unfortunately, they're going to fall right into the middle of Pizarra. And I believe there's another team in there somewhere as well, as DK already down to Fercho and Oscuro, just going to try to escape with their lives for right now. Looks like they should be able to. Oh no. Fercho has been spotted out by Pizarra, and he might have to be the sacrificial lamb here while Oscuro just escapes by himself.
That was very unfortunate as well. You brought up all members again. The last one was Zurin that needed to come back. He was able to do it, but just losing to as well. So the trade, not the most beneficial here right now, but a lot of losses here all the way at the bottom. Even Pizarra, only 1 member right now.
Wait a minute, yeah, Pizarra, apparently Fercho just turned it on him and was able to pick up 3 members of Pizarra. Fercho just absolutely going off on a rampage right now. Club 9D, meanwhile, trying to make their way into the south side of the circle. Nobody really around them, so they should be okay. Meanwhile, I'm kind of keeping an eye on everything else here. A lot of teams still out in the danger zone right now. IT Official, OG, VG still making their way in as well. Big Drip still outside of the zone as we see MC2. So going to be Atomic, another big hitter in the lobby, but they're going to be right on top of DK again.
Oh, and this is something you don't want to let happen early on. Those grenades trying to put a damage in. Nothing yet. Not able to find or being able to hide just in time. The team gets to stay alive for just a little bit, but not might be enough this time around. The glue wall's trying to keep here alive, but MC2 going to get the kills here.
Atomic, they would love to finish this off. They do need to be worried, though, because they've got IT official creeping down on their backs, and they're very exposed on the side of this mountain right now. No shots coming in from IT official just yet, but we know that IT official will push into a team if they think they can win. Nice shots from Dax from range, and that will take out DK, and that'll be our third team out of the lobby. Now, again, Pizarra down to 1, down to just West B. I believe they got pushed by Skullbreakers, and that's who actually took them out. But now IT official has run into the backside of DK, or I'm sorry, Atomic, and the glue walls are going down. The shotguns in big play here as Beto is already knocked for IT official. Reposition coming out. MVP is going to go down now, but they will clean it up. Sanji will do it with the grenade, and IT official cleans up Atomic.
Very nice grenade there, just in the right timing as well. One of the benefits there that we get to see, and another team that also gets taken down pretty early. Like you said, also Pizarra fully eliminated now. This is something that we haven't seen in a long time. It seems like they're always ending at least in that top 3, but now we have to say goodbye to them, and we look at someone else potentially in that booyah.
A little bit of a slow start for Pizarra, but again, not the worst thing. They show that they are more than capable of ramping things up as the day progresses yesterday. But one good thing you have to say, IT official, this is kind of the IT official that we got used to seeing in season 1, where they just kind of third party pushed on everybody, very aggressive, very points driven, very kill driven. But they weren't finding a lot of success yesterday, but so far so good here today as we see who is that? That's DN? VG. I'm sorry. It's a very tiny screen right now. And I've got my boomer eyes on. DN was cleaning up somebody on those roofs there. But a nice little 2-2 split with this high ground.
And something that you mentioned about IT is their ability and their performance, the high expectations that we could have for them based on the past results that they've gotten. And it seems like throughout the season, a little bit of a slower start for them. Not too bad. They still, again, it is the name of the game, being able to adapt, being able to change as of right now and use the revive, use those skills that we've seen them getting over and over again to their benefit, and they will continue to use that.
Yeah, not too bad. And they get a little bit of circle luck here as well, as it does shift over towards Hangar. That's going to mean Club 9D, Skullbreakers all going to have to make their way in, but VG kind of in the middle, in between Skullbreakers in the circle right now. Big shots coming out so far, but no knocks found just yet. A little bit of peak trading going on here with Duro. It's going to find some damage, but not get the knocks. But now Skullbreakers, I think, realizing the situation, they don't want to spend too long on this fight. You're just asking to get third party there at a certain point, so they'll just pull off and head south.
It's a good decision there as well. You try at the beginning, it doesn't work. The best decision is to move out, change that positioning as well before it becomes too predictable for someone else. Like you said, you don't want to get third party. Any positional advantage that you can take, especially in the point that we're at right now, is going to be great for them. They get to stay alive. And the only team struggling right now in terms of numbers is going to be OG. Only 2 members alive, Payne and Jay. The only ones managing to stay in the game might be taken down soon. That revive mechanic doesn't work for everyone. Doesn't work in every single map for them.
Yeah, and they're, as you said, in a little bit of trouble right now, as they're very split and kind of surrounded by Big Drip right now. Meanwhile, VG still trying to hold off this push from Skullbreakers. Good grenades from Grozero will do damage, and we'll actually find the knock. There you go. Andoar finally spotted. The time turner going to be set right on top of Andoar, so they can try to go for the res, but it goes away! The Skullbreakers losing 2 right off of that. A great grenade from Grozero, and now it's just a matter of cleaning up. Cuba will go down. Grozero will get taken out, but Palonki, the last one up for Skullbreakers in the line of sight right now, has survived so far, as it looks like all the glue walls are up. They're just trying to reset at this point. VG, 8 kills, and what a great grenade from Grozero.
Yeah, it was so nice. The 2 that we got to see until just having that commitment that it's gotta connect, it's gotta get the kills in time, and it just manages to do that. Now, only having 1 member, Palonki, the last one for Skullbreaker, is so much, right? We talk about the revive mechanic and what it can do as long as you have 1 member alive, but it's also such a big risk. You get spotted, you get taken down so quickly, there's no protection, there's no one as well to help you out. So, turn out from Skullbreaker to being so great to potentially going down, as we also see a couple kills on the other side.
There you go. Big Drip does finish off OG. And they have the north side to themselves right now. IT Official, meanwhile, trying to make this push into DN. This is good high ground for DN, but they're just kind of asking to get grenaded. The grenade's just not finding their marks right now for IT, though. You can see the air bursts basically coming through. Good glue wall is going to prevent the push up the stairs. So IT Official maybe just kind of having to deal with knowing that there's a team on top of them that they can't really get rid of. So maybe a little bit of a friendly arrangement here between IT and DN.
And we know those grenades, you have already proven over and over again to do so much, but even the high ground, the situation gets so difficult here. So you just want to play it with the glue walls as well, tries to stay alive for as long as possible and not even contest the enemy when you don't have the best positioning to take them. So I like this patience. You're just going to wait for the right time to do it.
Ooh, Venva. Only some nasty shots over onto Big Drip. Domi will get rezzed, so Big Drip's still up to 4. But this is kind of the situation that IT is in. They can't really take care of DN by crashing the roof, but DN's just going to basically protect them, but it's also going to take any kill points that maybe IT could grab away from them. So just kind of a uneasy partnership going on between those two. Meanwhile, 9D making their way in on the south side. You can see Palunki, the solo from Skullbreaker, is going to eat a little bit of blue damage here while he waits for Skullbreaker or 9D to make their way in. Big Drip, meanwhile, just hiding out on the very edge of the circle in this compound. They're getting pressured from every direction.
Yeah, you get surrounded from every angle as well, and even the protection, even those glue walls sometimes cannot really do enough for your team. That is why we saw the high ground positioning. It can be so nice, but it can also surround you the minute that you have to move, the minute that you have to drop and to get to somewhere else. That is the minute that IT can capitalize so much on this low ground that they have going on.
9D made the move to go for that center circle position. They have the best spot here, but now VG is on the move right behind them, so they're gonna have to defend while 9D tries to hold off VG from the high ground here on the bridge. Looks like DN gonna do a little bit of action onto IT Official while this is going on as well. VG just dropping glue wall after glue wall under constant pressure here from Club 9D. No grenades coming out just yet, but Victory might be able to get close enough to drop one right onto Club 9D here. Steph Gray needs to be very, very careful. Big shots coming through. They will finally find it, but White will go down to a grenade. VG down to just Camtron, and they're still on the bridge trading, chaining revives, hoping that these glue walls will keep them alive, hoping that somebody will maybe come over and third party 9D, but the third party's just not coming. Grow Zero gets the knock onto Steph Gray with a nicely placed grenade, but immediately goes back down again. Shakal and Joan, the only two up for 9D right now. They have to get these reses, but BG pushing them on the backside.
The way the 9D was playing into that one as well, so good. The positioning to start it off, and also all the crossfire that we got to see. VG gets taken down at the end. Those shotguns doing the work when it needs to. And all those teams that we talked about early on, now they got taken down. We're down to 3.
Just 3 remaining, and Patoyo is the only one up for DN. And there you go. BG will clean up what's left of Club 9D, and now it's the solo Patoyo that's still trying to make something happen. He's finding shots with that big snipe, but it seems like it might just be a matter of time here. 10 kills already for Patojo, and he's just going to die to the blue. Deny the point, tries to deny the point, doesn't get away with it. But Big Drip comes in game 1 with a big victory.
That is an interesting one. I've seen a lot of interesting performances from them, but this time around, they're able to figure it out. It seems like they came out of nowhere, perfect positioning early on, just kind of passing with no one else really noticing, not a lot of duels to take that were going to play into their disadvantage. And at the end, when it matters the most, 3 teams remaining, and the better positioning just from an angle that we got to see to give them that victory. I don't know how many of those they've gotten.
It's not been much. It's not been much. We'll see if some highlights from this one here, as it was a little bit slower in the early game here. I think a lot of these teams maybe kind of finding their way and getting their foothold in this lobby in particular, but still a lot of big fights there. IT Official cleaning that one up was absolutely huge for them.
That was so nice. So nice with those grenades as well. We suffered a lot of grenade kills into this one, and it's a really nice one to see. You can contest that positioning from the team, knowing the information, knowing they can run away in time. PG was looking so strong as well when you got to see that mid game, but towards the end, it just turned into a tragedy to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, this late game was very brutal. I mean, the only thing you had really in terms of cover was that that trench, that drainage ditch, really. And Club 90 tried to make the push for it early to see if they could hold it, but VG just, I mean, the third party didn't come in time, I guess, for Club 90. Big Drip actually holding out and waiting to the perfect opportunity to come in there and catch 90 before they could reset, before they could get any of their reses off. And they managed to pick up a few more kills off of it and get that victory. So 21 points for Big Drip in the first game. That is a huge, huge leap for them.
Absolutely. It's a lead that these teams needed. And it's a conversation that we had from the beginning. Those teams that have found themselves at the bottom, struggling quite a lot with very early mistakes. And just being able to fix that right from the beginning can give so much of a confident boost for them to work with. And I'm talking about Big Drip again. Not a lot of victories that we've seen from them. Not a lot of those booyahs that they've gotten either. And those 9 kills are going to be nice for them. Those points can do so much. And everyone else, I think, having a slow start. Not the first time that we see PSR starting slow and then potentially getting that momentum the more that we get to see those maps again and again, especially towards the end. It seems like they often like to be just on fire.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all about having a very specific goal in mind. And Big Drip, if you can't
Yeah.
be first place in the lobby, at least be top 8. If you can't be top 8, at least be top 20. And with that victory, I think Big Drip should be able to push themselves into that top 20. And there you go, your overall kill leaders from that first game. Patojo with 5 kills, Grow 0 with 5 as well, while Joan and White both with 4. Sanji for himself. So a lot of names that maybe weren't expecting to see simply because of the fact that Pizarro ended up going out so early.
Yeah, absolutely. And every single time what I see is Pizarro and getting all the way to the top every single map, getting those kills at DL is the player that everyone is mentioning right and left because of that. But again, it's a unusual, it's a very uncommon start, at least to say for this team, and even a little bit for the side of Virus Gaming, who were kind of the contestants. Sure, they had very good performance as well in terms of kills, but didn't really end up getting as close as they wanted to the Booyah. So they're gonna have to adapt into that one, see what they can do into this next one.
Absolutely. Well, definitely, if you are a fan of Pizarro, which I know that there are a lot of you out there that are big fans of that squad, do not fret. One game going down with 2 points, I think Pizarro could have a day full of games like that and still be comfortably in first place. Like, that's how big
Yeah.
their lead is right now. So I don't expect that we'll see that again. But you know, if they're having one bad game, it's not the end of the world. They still have plenty of time to get a few more points here today and really cement that first place spot. But it does look like they are playing with sub today and Jam. So he did manage to get a kill from that. So that's definitely a step in the right direction. If you only got 2 kills and having your sub, your new player come in and get one of those, that's good news.
Absolutely, but I also think the what we saw from Pizarro right now, it also plays a little bit into what I'm thinking when it comes to that revive mechanic. Sure, you're going to only need 1 player alive, but what are the chances of that single player to make it out and to actually get that rest? It can be very difficult. You can be surrounded easily. You can get taken down as well. So I feel like with 2, obviously, a lot more chances to work together to get some synergy going on right when they needed to. But for Pizarro, no matter the kills that they've gotten before, sometimes a single player is not going to be enough. And again, I'm not really worried about them. They've done some amazing things, and I know they're going to be able to come back very, very smoothly as we get to see the 5 maps that we got remaining.
Yes, we do indeed. 5 more games left to go. We still have 1 more map on Bermuda before we switch over to Kalahari. So hopefully we'll see 90 will, or not 90, Pizarro will actually kind of reset after that one. We saw them do big things on that map yesterday. So would not be at all surprised to see that here today. But again, last game now to go on Bermuda. yellow screen means we are ready to get into that game. But so far, it's been fairly light early game. We did see a couple of hot drops,
Yeah.
but immediately afterwards, two players were able to get out of there. They were able to get those reses off. So full resets, pretty easy to come by. We'll see if the hot drops continue to happen here. 9D in particular, it seems like they're just constantly getting involved in these early game fights.
Yeah, and I gotta say, honestly, I'm such a big fan of those hot drops and getting a lot of action happening very early on. It's so nice for the kills. It's so nice to give your team a little bit of confidence that the kills, again, the kills can do everything for points, and that is what everyone is trying to get more than anything. A lot of points to work, a lot of advantage that you can take map after map, and knowing that this is going to be the last Bermuda, just seems like it did good before. Also looking to maintain that momentum into what we can see now, and I'm talking specifically about Big Drip, a victory that they don't get very often, but a victory that they can learn from and capitalize from as well into this one.
Yeah, every team in this lobby is extremely capable of popping off, and Big Drip just
Yeah.
got their like you said, the confidence builder, the one that you try to build off of. So we'll see if they can do something with that. Meanwhile, OG, it was a fight last time with Club 9D. This time they're going to run into Skullbreakers. Looks like it's going a little bit better now as Payne is going to find Anduar right off the bat. Daily will get traded back. Feverful has about 1 HP right now and is not going to be hard peeking anything right now as Jay tries to come and rejoin the rest of his team. Meanwhile, Skullbreakers down to just 3. Looks like Cuba knows exactly where these two are. Duro with the nice snipe will find the knock and the flush immediately. And that might open up things here a little bit more for Skullbreakers to make a push.
A good way to start off here. And yeah, like you said, an opportunity of anything to get even more after that one. The damage as well that has been implanted. OG already losing 2 members. Can't lose a lot more
Cuba.
here.
What an angle. I
Yeah.
can't believe he spotted them. But you know what? That'll be another one picked up and another one flushed out. So OG once again will find themselves having to go for that revive station very, very early, which fortunately enough, they should be able to do. Jay actually looks like he's almost there.
Yeah, should be able to get it here, hopefully, for this team. Keeping everyone alive just for a little bit longer. I like the tension that we get to see early on, but more than anything, just thriving with those revives, using those mechanics, using the current meta that we get to see to the biggest benefit possible. And for OG, this is something that they really need right now. Skullbreaker, though, I love to see that start for them.
It's been good early game for 2 games now for Skullbreakers.
Yeah.
As we do see Pizzata once again on the move. Looks like they may be chasing down VG, although VG, I'm not sure if either team really aware of the other just yet. VG all grouped together, doing a little bit of last-minute looting, all inside the circle as well. We'll see if Pizzata has that high ground. Zero may spot this out. Oh, he's going to know where they are now.
Oh, definitely going to know here. Trying to get those and connect those kills. VG actually able to get away with one of those glow walls, trying to get some protection as well. There's not a lot for the map itself to get that protection, so the kills, the damage as well.
Oh,
Going to connect
no!
pretty well. Grenade?
Is that Grow Zero again? Back-to-back games with the grenade. How he made it up that hill, I will never know. But Grow Zero just decimated Pizarro. That was such a good fight for them. They had the high ground. Somehow Grow Zero manages to get up the hill, get within grenade range, and just land the most beautiful grenade you could ever hope for.
What a nice grenade there. Perfect timing. And that's funny because we talked about Pizarro. We were like, oh, don't worry, guys. Surely this one would be a lot better for them. And immediately the first team here to get taken down. No one left for that rest. No one left alive. That was all the grenade, all that positioning as well, the high ground positioning for those grenades. They can do so much. We get to see it so early on too.
I mean, it's one of those things for Pizzata where you're just like, you know what, shake it off and go to next, because like that was just a really, really good individual play from Grozero. I mean, you 9 times out of 10, if a team is in that position, they'll just kind of stay down there, try to go for the hard cover and just lay down the glue walls. But Grozero immediately tries to make his way up the hill. As soon as the knock came through, there was one knock onto Pizarra, and as soon as that knock came through, Gozero pushed up and tried to get within grenade range and somehow managed to break line of sight from Pizarra the way they couldn't see him and get in that perfect position. So, you know, there's just not a whole lot you can do about that. It was just a really, really good individual play from Gozero.
You can't really account for that. You can't even plan for that when it's so unexpected. But it's those plays that are honestly one of the best ones that we get to see. Those that catch the enemy off guard. They get, with those grenades alone, so many down until there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to run. Those glue walls are not really doing enough. So you capitalize from that. You're going to take those points. You're going to get those kills as well. And a little bit of momentum as well. Everyone in this team environment, what they need is a little bit of encouragement from the rest of the team to know that they can make it even further as we get to see more of them.
Well, they should definitely be feeling themselves right now. That is a big win to get. And as we see Atomic, another good team, had a mixed bag in game number one. They won a couple of good fights, but then lost one at the end to kind of go out a little bit earlier than maybe they were expecting. But they take the high ground. They do have DN off to their west and IT official just off to their east in those valleys. Not sure if they have spotted that out, but it looks like they're comfortable just holding that high ground and just keeping an eye on everything around them for the time being. Meanwhile, Club 9D pushing in from the south side. First game, they were all alone down there. Nobody on that south side. This time, they've got two teams, Skullbreaker and IA, looking over in their direction.
Right in the middle of those two teams. Not the best situation to be in, but something they can probably benefit from if they are able to play it as well as we got to see into that first map, into what we got to see early on too. So it's absolutely a possibility, but taking those duels one by one gives the teams here the best chance to stay alive for a little bit longer as they have, and they are forced to move faster.
I was going to say, it does look as though Skullbreaker is trying to look down in this direction to see if they can spot him, but I guess they didn't. And no shots coming through. Meanwhile, IA, I don't think they have any idea that 90 is backfilling them right now. They've just been kind of making their way forward just as normal as you please. And there you go. Shakal is going to spot them out. And I believe IA may have spotted them out this time as the scopes come through. No shots just yet, though. So Skullbreaker realizing they still got a little bit of ways to go to get into that zone.
There's going to be an interesting fight. Everyone towards the north playing pretty close together as well. We talked about IT before. Now they're going to be once again completely surrounded by around 2, potentially 3 teams. There's not a lot of places as well for them.
Now, 1A. I'm nervous. This is like watching a horror movie where you know the villain is about to just pop out of the closet and take him out. But it looks like 1A, yeah, they have no idea, just no clue whatsoever that they are being chased. And now this trap has been sprung. White will take the first shots over towards Lurin. The glue walls will come down. Ghost will try to do something back as well. Grenades will come out from Lurin, but nice one from White will take him out instead. Ghost still hiding behind the glue wall while 1A tries to go break line of sight. This is actually a nice job by them of working this ridge line to see if they can go for a flanking position. But keep in mind, Skullbreakers also just off in the distance could get involved in this at any time and turn this into a 3-way fight.
Nothing yet, just those grenades, a little bit of damage, but managing to stay alive. This is what the teams have been able to do so far. And a duel that as the zone gets smaller, the time turner has to get used. The investments as well for the kills have to be committed into this one. But still, it's going to be actually, a grenade. Taking one down.
We'll find another one. And now I think 1A may have spotted out Skullbreakers, because Skullbreakers, as soon as they pull up, 1A tries to take off. They're going to eat a little bit of blue damage. Or zone damage, rather, just to avoid this fight. But now, Club 9D, they're playing tower defense. They've got Skullbreakers just off in the distance. Joan will try to reposition, but it looks like he's going to get spotted out.
In the tower defense, this is something that we've gotten a chance to see. I like that it was quick. It was just trying to get something. Doesn't work. You just have to move. You just have to get out of the way as well. And the snipers
are they jump padding?
To get one here. Ooh.
Skullbreakers just, I guess they decided they didn't want any of it, so they jump padded right over the top of Club 9D. and then Club 9D will be happy about it, but Skullbreaker is going to drop right on top of 1A. Meanwhile, Atomic has gotten involved in a fight of their own. It looks like they have come out on top. DK, I believe it was with DK, yeah, down to just Faircho, who is hiding out in the compound, so it's just a little bit of a game of hide and seek here. Skullbreakers, no, they're going down to the zone.
The damage as well here. A lot of players that we got to see getting taken down early on. OG, one of the teams that we saw with the damage being taken from them. 2 members alive, only 1A as well. And it is just that pressure to get some value out of the last couple of members they have remaining out of that revive. Potential revive that might not even be there in time.
Oh, lots of fights going on over here. I'm still watching the saga of the Skullbreakers trying to make their way out of the blue zone here. But Grozero, another grenade. Just give this guy all of your grenades if you're Team VG. He is hitting every single one of them. He will get traked down by Darylin here as Montana and the rest of Big Drip try to reposition, pull back just a little bit, and they will find Edrus as well. Camatron, what a grenade! Oh no, the throwables, the grenade launchers being a big player right now. Big Drip has just enough time to reset, heal up before, look at this, they are getting chased down once again. It's IT official.
What a nice showing for Big Drip as well. They get to do it again. They get to stay alive more than anything. Losing only 1 member, but it's such a nice grenade as well. Able to connect with them now. Having a little bit more pressure though because IT has spotted them. They're committed to get this fight.
Those grenade launchers, absolutely brutal. But Sanji will hit those long-range shots. Scopes down Montana. That's him out. Big Drip now down to 2. Trying to wrap low. Darylin and Domi have to be careful because Club 9D is just a little bit in front of them. It looks like IT official, they're content with chasing this down. They see some free kills. They would love to get these 2, but now they're starting to get shots from range. They may change their mind.
MC2 here with the better positioning. They got in the area and the best possible area for them very early on, so everyone will be approaching them. And with a chance here to get the victory here, to get a little bit of damage. Getting that pressure early on as the zone gets closed. There's so many fights that we see going on around.
Oh, everybody taking shots at anything they can see. IT official and 90 trying to share this bridge, this high ground spot. And they'll keep those glue walls cycling. Make sure that they'll protect themselves from each other while also looking off to the north. The circle has popped and they will have to make that move. Skullbreakers back up to 4 strong, and it looks like they've caught TK in a long rotation here. Is now, oh, IT official, they will creep close enough to 90 to at least get within grenade range. They'll find White and get the flush as well. IT official, meanwhile, has lost 1 of their own, so it's a 3-man push here. Sanji will go down on the push. Beto has that shotgun ready to go, holding the side of the glue wall, waiting to see what he can spot out, but another glue wall well placed by Shakal. And now here comes the push. Shakal takes 1 step too far, goes down. The glue walls will get dropped to see if they can maybe get this res, as they are just shotgunning through. Time turners being dropped so they can avoid the grenade shots, and there you go. IT official will clean it up. I think there's 1 member left for Club 9D. It's Steph Gray, and he's going to get spotted out by Sanji.
Those grenades as well, the shotguns with that close range, able to get so much value for this one too. And with that, I mean, the damage has been done for so many teams early on. DK, OG, only 1 member alive still. Trying to get something virtual as we get to see not in the best positioning. Can get a chance into this one too, but there's less and less in IT. Being able to keep 3 members alive, being able to win the duel that we got to see, being able to win that fight, can do it for them. As, like I said, the positioning that MC2 was taken still continues to look very, very strong.
Oh, Atomic, maybe all grouped up together, weren't looking in the right direction, weren't expecting that push to come from that bridge. They were expecting it from somewhere else. Doesn't matter, though, as Dax will find some big damage with that shotgun. Will hold off the push. Beto is down. Sanji is down. Atomic cleans up. IT official should have a chance to reset as well.
MCT here getting away with it 1 by 1. It's the same area that they've been holding for so long, and even though they take a little bit of damage, no one here gets taken down. That is going to be crucial for them. 1A on the other side, and IT too fully taken down. Last member alive cannot stay alive long enough. Now the next one here, might be taken down as 1A. Fighting with everything that they got into this one, but the damage here, yep, it's not going to be possible.
Atomic doing well from this low ground spot from the compounds. Still managing to find points, find kills. Skullbreakers, meanwhile, getting pushed by DN. Push with the shotgun. They're going to find another one. Andawar will find Patojo. But they'll try to trade one back at least, but it does not matter as Skullbreakers will get cleaned up by DN. They should be able to get that res as well, and they'll be back up to full strength. They have to push down, though, into Atomic, which is that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough.
Not the best one. Not the best situation that you want to deal with here, but MCT here, Atomic looking so strong still. And I like this, like, really like this positioning. We saw before Trevor, it was the one that was farther away from the team. Now it's going to be another member managing to get kills from different angles. Also making sure that you're not putting all the eggs in the basket, but you're able to help your team if he gets surrounded out of nowhere, if those glue walls don't seem to be enough for that protection.
Actually, Atomic in kind of a rough spot right here. DK crept up on their backsides, and they weren't able to flush out the kills that they were able to, or the knocks they were able to get onto DN, rather. They had to turn their attention back over towards their, to DK. So this is actually opening up a little bit of room here for DN to make a push. Good grenades from Dax. Won't find the knock. There it will. We'll find Edvin, and it won't get the other one down. So that should be a res coming through as Abreu's now been taken out by Patojo. They've cleaned. DK is just kind of sitting back, waiting for all this to play out, waiting for their chance to kind of jump in and clean up whatever's left. Fairchild and Papacamus just playing the patience game at this point.
Even if we saw a little bit of chaos here for Atomic, they managed to stay alive for a little longer time. I say that though, they get taken down. Last scenario, grenade as well, connecting perfectly for the side of DK and DN, the last two teams alive, and 2 and 3 members for each. DK might be in a little bit of the number disadvantage, but they can get it done.
Oh man, DN needs to send a thank you DM to the boys from DK here, because they were dead to rights before eventually having to push down. DK was the only thing that was going to protect them from that push, and there you go. DN will wrap it up. They will get the victory. They will get the booyah, the second booyah of today in a wild finish. That is just a brutal ending zone right there.
Absolutely. And then the way that we saw those two teams playing at the end, just, I mean, really the patience shining the most, waiting for the last second that you really have to go in, get the last kills, shining the KOs the most. That is going to give them the booyah as well. But I mean, what we saw from Atomic was absolutely insane. The way that they were positioning themselves from pretty much in that mid game was allowing them to get kills right and left, was allowing them to take a very, very nice positioning. It was just a matter of, you know, the zone. Everything is so close. There's not much space to work with. You're surrounded. You're getting taken down. Those grenades as always putting the pressure that they needed to until everyone there from Atomic got taken down.
Yeah, it was such a tough position for Atomic to be in. Once they realized that their backs weren't clear, that DK did have a duo coming out, it was almost too late for them to really do anything, because you got to imagine if they knew that DK was pushing out from there, they would have been able to kind of turn all their attention over towards that and clear that out first before turning their attention uphill. But they didn't know. They had no idea. DK played it so quietly for so long that by the time they struck, it was just too late for Atomic to do anything. And to DN's credit, they survived. That is basically what they needed to do coming from that high ground. They managed to survive, chain res, not die to grenades, and keep themselves alive for long enough to get that booyah.
Absolutely. Also a point here we get to see for the end. One of the teams that we got to see towards the end the most. They currently have the highest average placement on Bermuda. I feel like it's going to continue to stay that way after today, potentially. Taking into account what we got to see, very nice performance, very nice kills from them, and it's just the patience game. It really caught my attention a lot. 9 kills that they were able to get into very early, and also very, very much at the end, again, when they just needed to get that done with.
Well, Dual Kings, only 1 kill, but they get 10 points overall for their battle to making it to the late game there. Worth mentioning that Atomic still 10 kills on the board for themselves. Skullbreakers, again, another high kill performance from them. This is kind of not what we've seen from them lately, and it's been a really good look here for the first couple of games for Skullbreakers, winning their early game fights. Club 9D kind of in that same position where they're getting points, the official winning fights as well, but going out a little bit early. So we'll see if once we trade maps and move over to Kalahari, if things may switch up a little bit for them.
Those map changes as well can do quite a lot for teams like it's at DN with a pretty good performance that we've seen week after week and day after day for DN. But for what we can see in Kalahari, it might not always be the greatest. Might be a little bit more consistent. It's also one of the things that I've been talking about a lot is that the consistency that you can have and consistency that it also requires your team to be able to adapt to situations that you're not expecting. So, for example, also situations that you can't even adapt in time, right? We talk about PCR early on getting taken down first, a little bit unexpected for them, but it's just being able to move on properly from that and knowing that the next map for Kalahari can bring something new to the table for them.
Yeah, we saw on that leaderboard Sanji from IT Official, one of the big fraggers from season 1, showing a little bit of that return to form here so far today. Another 5 kills to his total as we see the leaderboard for the day. DN Esports in first overall so far with 40 points for themselves. Big Drip right behind them. Good stuff from Big Drip. 26 points so far. Obviously, that
Yeah.
win going to be a big factor. But you know what? When you're trying to make it into that top 20, everything counts, and that's having one good game that makes you jump up a little bit. That's huge.
Absolutely. Any of those good performances they're going to take and they're going to value the most as well and see how they can repeat it the most. And on the other side of for Pizarre, I think they're just glad that today and for this first 2 maps that we got to see, they're not going against Fuego because that would be a completely different story for them. Just fighting so hard to stay in that first spot. And the closer that anyone gets, the more that they're going to be feel pressure to deliver those good results, those good kills that I mean, so far we haven't seen too much of, but things can still change around for them. An amazing team, one of the biggest highlights that we brought, that have and continue to have a slow start today.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pizarro maybe playing with their feet up a little bit, maybe feeling comfy a little bit, but you know what? They've earned it up to this point. I mean, they've got
Yeah.
such a big lead on second that they don't really stand a risk losing anything, even if they had a full day of games like this. So
Yeah.
again, still don't expect it. I expect them to come and turn things on here a little bit at some point, but so far through 2 games, yeah, it hasn't been that great, but there you go. They're still in first with 392 points, so no harm, no foul, really.
Absolutely. And just taking the any situation like this one and looking forward to Kalahari for all these teams. One of the teams that we also talked about a little bit was Big Drip. Just plays 18, not too bad. I believe last week we saw them all the way at the bottom, the 24 spot. So those points that they're able to take into this one, they're going to hold with everything that they got and see how
Hmm.
far up they're able to get.
They absolutely want to build on that. As there you go, you get a little bit of a look at Big Drip. Numbers
Yeah.
not as flashy as some of their lobby mates in Pizarra and some of the other ones that we've seen. But you know what? As long as you make the top 20, that's
Yeah.
all that counts.
As long as you can go to the last chance qualifier, at least you are good to go. But again, the confidence that can play into getting that first, second, and third spot or something that no one can contest. It's so nice to have. It gives you the confidence that no matter if things are changing, you're able to see at the top. You'll still get to see how far at the top these teams are able to stay because I hear that the game is going to be ready and we're going to jump into Kalahari.
There it is. That's what the yellow screen means. We're getting
Yep.
ready to jump into Kalahari. But as you said, new map, kind of a little bit of a midday reset for everybody as we do head over to that new spot. So we'll see if we maybe get a little bit more active in the early game. Now, it's been, compared to yesterday, the early game's been, moderately active, but not nearly as crazy and wild as we were seeing yesterday. So that's a little bit of good news here, at least for some of these teams.
There's some I love the variety in playstyles for so many teams, right? So many of them shining from all the chaos that can happen into the early fights, into the hot drops as well. But others being a little bit more patient. We know those teams that also like to drop in the blue zone as well, getting something early on, and that is going to be PSR looking very, very close to the area.
So a bit of high tier loot here as we see it looks like at least one hot drop going on. OG and Atomic right on top of each other, and the shots already coming through as Feverful finds himself down to about half HP. OG just cannot seem to avoid an early game fight, and they have just not been going their way so far. As Payne now taking down Jay, still alive, has that high ground. It looks like a Bray who tries to take shots back with that shotgun. Nobody for Atomic has gone down just yet, and it looks like they've cleaned up just about everybody from OG, with the exception of Jay, as Jay trying to be the last one alive to get out and get the rest of his team up as he was last game.
It's not something that you want to happen so early on, right? A lot of early on pressure, but definitely can be done. Can give a little bit of confidence for them early on. But yeah, everyone gets taken down. This time around, OG are not going to see any chance, and they get taken down in the first, 2 minutes that we get to see? Not an ideal situation, but it's just Atomic that, I mean, are on fire after what we got to see last.
Oh, just unfortunate for OG there. I mean, Jay could have been able to escape that. Unfortunately for him, 9D was pushing in from that south side, so Jay not getting to escape this time around. But I respect the commitment for OG. They know that they need points, so they're doing the early game hot drops. They're trying to get involved in these fights early on. They haven't been going their way, but they're still committing to it. They're still keeping that same idea going, that same game plan, and eventually it's going to work for them. Eventually it's going to work, and eventually they're going to have one of these high kill late games, but so far it's just been a little bit slow sledding.
It's also getting used to that. So I like that they're implementing this strategy early on, because the value that you can get from it early on, it's so massive. But it obviously is just not going to work every single time. And unfortunately for them, this is going to be one of those scenarios where immediately shot down, denied any possibilities for that early game to get any kills, any value. As it was just Atomic all the way, trying to get some loot, trying to get any advantage, while everyone else as well doing the same. And I continue to look. There doesn't seem to be anyone close enough, so a little bit of a slower start that we get to have right now.
Yeah. Let's see, Virus kind of centering up on Refinery. Kamatron creeping off to the north to see if he can spot out anything coming in. He may have spotted out DN just underneath, but regardless, he's heading back to rejoin the rest of his squad. It's definitely worth noting, especially in terms of teams like OG or any of these teams, really. I mean, we've played a meta for so long where you're wanting to avoid these early game fights, right? You want to try to play for late game, try to play for position, and now all of a sudden with the institution of the revive mechanic, it's a complete shift of meta. And these guys are kind of having to figure out how they want to deal with it and how they want to play around it on the fly. So you got to give respect to OG for kind of committing to that, and all of these teams really that are trying to commit to these fights, these early game fights. Even if they don't necessarily go their way, eventually it's going to start working out. They're going to start getting a feel for it, and you got to feel like it's going to start bearing some fruit here soon.
Absolutely, the adaptability that can do everything for teams, and adaptability that, and the confidence also that plays into it, and to knowing that right when you drop, you're able to get a couple kills and maybe a full an entirety of a team, and it's a confidence that shines in teams like PSR. We got to see the drop into the blue zone, and usually there's maybe one or two teams as well trying to contest it, but everyone respecting it, everyone expecting that PSR that even though has had a slow start, they can get quite a lot. You don't want to contest it early on. You just want to let them play their game. And when you have to face them, you just have to face them.
Absolutely. And USADA, for their part, they've kind of avoided doing the extreme early game fighting. No hot dropping coming out from that squad by any means. But it looks like they are starting to kind of creep over there towards TK a little bit. May have spotted them out on the rotation. Or they're just content with playing the edge and just holding it down on the northern side, which is not something that we've always seen from Pizarro and Kalahari. A lot of the times we see that squad try to center up around Refinery and play from there, but this is a little bit of a shift here, a little bit trying something new from Pizarro, which is, you know, if you're that far in the lead, you know, why not? Why not try new strats and see what you can make work here in preparation for these grand finals?
Absolutely. One thing that I like as well for Pizarro is the way that they're good at punishing those late rotations from teams and capitalizing from them so well. So there's different strategies for them that have proven they're really good at this meta right now that we get to see, and also allows them to discover maybe things that we get to see from different drop spots all the way into the way that you're taking those fights and the timing of when you're taking those fights and the confidence as well that is playing and allowing them to do just that.
Absolutely. I mean, the more options for play styles that you have in your arsenal, the better off you'll be, and it'll just put you, you know, that much more adaptable for when you get to higher round tourneys. So, love to see it from Pizarro. We'll see if they can find any success with it. As it's been a very, very slow early game, with the exception of OG and Oscuro going down from Dual Kings. We have a full lobby still.
It was only OG getting taken down. That was quite a lot of early action for them, but everyone else just trying to get the best guns here, trying to get all the advantage, as we now get to see a little bit of action, and so those grenades hitting some damage on the other side.
Yep, TK wrapping right underneath DN. We see this play out many times around Refinery, where you have the team on the high ground that's just kind of holding the line here, while a team on the low ground tries to push a little bit closer. Now, looks like actually shots from range here getting landed over here onto DN, so they'll have to drop the glue walls and play around that. They will find Zutu, though. Will be able to get the knock and get the flush as well. So that is one picked off from TK. Weren't able to get completely underneath the DN boys. Manix just going to hold the line right now by those shipping containers.
Has the right idea here for TK. Not a lot of places to run. The grenade might just do it. And it will do it as well. IT on the other side. The grenade connecting 3 members down. The pressure as well that is getting put. The high ground doing so much.
Yeah, you mentioned it on the outside. This is the far side of the map, the southeast. IT official running into Atomic and cleaning him up, while this fight finally now popping off here. Edvin's already gone down, but DN not losing any more than that. They should get that res, and they do indeed, as DN will reset here a little bit. Up top, and Tank, though, have taken over that high ground position. They'll find the re-knock onto Edvin, get the re-knock and the flush. Benya is up here with the SMG in hand. They didn't know he was there. He still hasn't been able to. Tank doesn't know. Tank, you got to turn around. Eventually, the glue wall and the time turner will combine to save him. They switch over to shotguns, but Tank will go down to Venva. Now it's just down to up top, and he's going to get taken out as well. And TK is out of the lobby. DN will lose Edvin, but they will gain 4 kills.
That was such a slow reaction, realizing that, hey, the one to your left, that is not a teammate. That's actually an enemy trying to take you down. And just having that duel all the way in the high ground, completely unexpected. Everyone just trying to focus and pay the more attention into the ones that you're looking from far away. The snipers as well that can get a lot, but you know, just having to be hyper aware. That's why we have teams usually taking and watching different angles, making sure that you're just not getting taken down the minute that you're expecting it less. So yeah, we lose now TK. We also lost Atomic a little bit early into. We saw a grenade going on, and then out of nowhere there was no one from Atomic remaining. We just have to adapt to what we have right now. Everyone so far looking pretty strong. A little bit of calm before we get to see that storm, and before we get to see the storm again for all the action that can take place.
Well, it looks like DN was able to get the revive onto their fallen player, so all teams now back to full strength. IT official, they took out Atomic in that southeastern part of the map, and then they did a really good job of they threw a drone up and then used the jump pad. They jumped right past 9D and are just shy of Dual King. So a really well-disciplined rotation from them on something that could be very, very dangerous, and that's taking a jump pad right to dead center of the circle, but it works out for them. We'll see if it holds up here as the new circle does pop, and they have position, but they've got a lot of teams off there onto the west that need to start making their way in.
Bizarre here once again trying to get an early positioning into a new circle. As everyone is going to be approaching them, that positioning that they're going to take is going to be everything. You don't want to be too center, you don't want to be surrounded, but you also want to be able to watch those angles, watch the high ground. As we see a couple of teams that are going to be approaching them pretty soon, and a lot of contests that can take place in the southern area that we get to see. I believe is going to be 1A as well. Fighting for the life, trying to run away.
Well, Skullbreakers had to come somewhere. They left Pelonki off in the distance to try to snipe at this, but 1A having to hold the line. They took a knock, immediately get that res back, but Skullbreakers used that as an opportunity to make the push forward. Now, Andar will get taken down and flushed out as well. But Skullbreakers still using those glue walls to try to push their way in close, but it's not working. 1A holding the line admirably. Pelonki now the last player up for Skullbreakers, and he's going to have to try to go for the reposition, but 1A, you can see they're looking for him. They would love to spot him out. They do, but they have to make their way into the circle as well.
Such an open area as well for Pelonki. That is not the best situation to be in. Those snipers can shine quite a lot, take him down immediately. As you have so much pressure as well, the zone closing, everyone having to move into this one. But I love to see 1A shining the way that they did, getting those kills, only leaving Pelonki alive from the side of Skullbreaker.
It was a decent push from Skullbreakers too. They got the knock and immediately were right in their faces with the shotguns, but unfortunately they just lose the trades and take too much damage in the process. Meanwhile, Shakal 9D will find somebody from 1A and immediately gets traded back. So again, firefights going on this southern edge as 1A is trying to make their way in. From the north side, you can see Virus is trying to trade back down onto, I believe that's DN. Yes, they do get the knock and the flush, so it's down to just one player for DN. It's going to be Bad Boy on that northern side. Looks like he has been spotted out as well, though.
Getting spotted here early on. Can't get taken down here. Pelonki still on the other side, managing to stay alive for how long? That is going to be the question. On the other side, we got to see Pisar shining a little bit, getting a couple kills. Got down a little early on, but managing here to make it work just enough. So far, those glue walls, you get to see them everywhere because of that protection. The map itself is so open, so many open areas to work with.
Yeah, 90, they're using these hills to their advantage, trying to break line of sight from everything that's going off inside the circle. They would love, and to the point of where they need to clear out what's left of 1A here. OPTM will try to hold his best with the shotgun, but it's not going to work. Joan will be the one that gets credit for that kill. A lot of damage coming through, but 90 should be able to reset. You can see IT Official just on the other side of this ridge. No sight lines onto this, so they're going to turn their attention over to DK.
There's an interesting duel on the other side that's taking place. IT as well, fighting to stay alive into this one so far, getting a good amount of kills. But when the situation happens with teams remaining is when things can become a lot more risky. Pisar that are found in this duel as well against Big Drip.
Yep, number of fights going on the side of this road as IT Official tries to hold out Dual Kings. Pizad is holding out the push from Big Drip. So far, so good, as it looks like they've lost one. Domi now down for Big Drip. Luffy and Darlin, the last two up, but they're holding the glue walls well. Luffy down to next to no HP. We'll try a few more glue walls, try to see if he can maybe get that res onto Darlin. Does not get it, so Darlin will be the last player up here for Big Drip. Pizad has been taken out, though. This is all third-partied by Virus. From that high ground, Virus just feasting off of whatever's left over, and now it's just a grenade battle between Club 9D and IT Official.
We saw a very slow start for this teams. Now it's all the action taking place. Now is Big Dre being able to get away with a couple of kills as well. But we see VG as well getting their own from the side, and one by one from so many squads, being able to take them down. Those teams that we're trying to get in a positioning that the side of VG they already had.
Oh man, Virus has just been so fortunate with these circle shifts to be able to hold on to that high ground, and they are collecting kills right now, landing damage all over the place. Bebeto now the last player up for IT Official. The glue walls will keep him alive a little bit longer, but he's got Shakal from 9D right on his back, while Poppy Camus from DK still just hugging the wall underneath Virus so that they can't get a line onto him. Bebeto will get a res onto Beto. Fun. It's always fun that they have Bebeto and Beto on the same squad. So that is a caster's dream, let me tell you.
Yep.
As so we see what they decide to do about this last player from Club 9D. Looks like they'll at least be able to get in a little bit closer here.
The zone once again is going to be closed, and it seems like for the first time here, it's going to be Virus forced to move out of that high ground that they had. It was so nice, but now they have to rotate. They have to play their way back, and it doesn't matter though because the kills are going to connect. They're going to get away with it. They shot down a couple of the members and the entirety of Big Drip.
Oh man, Virus, they just got to feast off of everything that was underneath them, and now they spotted out Poppy Camus. It's just going to be a matter of time before Camus goes down as well. Only question is, will they get credit for that kill? Nope, he's going to go down to the zone, and Virus Gaming will get the booyah with, I believe that's 14 or 15 kills. Big game for them.
That was a massive game for them for sure. And I feel like I got an indication of the aggression that we got to see once they were in that positioning. They had such a nice high ground, those grenades as well, connecting in the way that they wanted to. And the zone kept closing and closing, and they were just in such a nice position and no one could contest them. The little inclinations that we can see in the map were just playing to their favor all the way until the end, and it was is that a Big Drip trying to take another one of those booyahs that we got to see in the first map, but this time around is not going to be possible.
And we get to see some highlights from there. Sometimes you get circle luck, but the only question is, what can you do if you do get that circle luck? Well, Virus Gaming definitely got a little bit of circle love that time around, and they managed to collect a good 14 or 15 kills off of it. So well played by them. Skullbreakers showing signs of life here in this push, but what a great hold from 1A in the end.
Absolutely. There was a lot of tension. I mean, there was a situation where there were maybe 3 fights taking place at the same time in different parts. The more that we can see the zone closing, the pressure that the teams have here, but it was all the way around what we got to see very much until the end from Virus. I feel like they've had some days that have been very underwhelming for them, but this one, I mean, 14 kills for them, 26 points that they get out of this one. It's something that Virus they're going to take and they're going to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, you know, you can say that they got favored by the circle all you want, but the fact of the matter is that even if you do get that circle favor, you have to, if you're put in a game that it's your game to win, you have to still win it. And not only do you have to win it, you have to try to get as many points as you can possibly get when you have that good luck. Now, the question is, can Virus now turn that into, you know, a snowball? Can they start getting the ball rolling here, start turning 1 good game into 2 good games, into 3 good games? That would be the ideal situation for a team like Virus that has some catching up to do. But again, looking down here, Dual Kings, this is the second time in a row now that they've got a 10-point game with 1 kill. They've somehow managed to get to the late game twice, in top 2 twice without catching any kills here. It's crazy.
We saw it before. When we got to see the second Bermuda, it was a lot of the passive playstyle allowing them to make it through. But this time around, I mean, they're just in a very interesting positioning to allow that to happen. Everyone else just getting more kills, especially in that top 5. At least 3 is the least amount that we get to see from Club 9D. But everyone else going crazy. And again, like you talked about, the zone and the positioning as well, it can help, and it definitely help Virus a little bit. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to get the kills, you have to connect those grenades, and it's only those mechanics that are really allowing that to happen. So a very well deserved booyah for them.
Absolutely. See the kill leads from that game: Adiris with 6,
Yeah.
Camatron, Victor with 3 apiece, and then LPTM from 1A and Darlin Also collect 2 apiece. So not a lot of high kills there. Those are all pretty spread out amongst everybody. Virus Gaming with that booyah will take the overall lead on the day with 47 total points, but DN Esports right behind them with 46. So we'll see how that plays out as the day progresses. Bizarre no longer in last place. They managed to climb up, and now it's just Tonkas that's holding down 12th. But again, only 3 kills from Pizarra so far. So, but I gotta say, it looks like they're trying different strats. It looks like they're mixing things up, trying different things. So this is not at all unexpected. When you have a lead that big, as we said before, it's perfectly acceptable and recommendable even to try different things to prepare yourself for later stages.
Absolutely. Even though, I mean, so far, like you said, the things that they've been trying out, not really working out, getting taken down very, very early on for them. And that also kind of denies the possibility for them to try even more things out, right? The longer that you see alive, maybe you approach that mid game a little bit different. But we only got the chance to see Pizarro in that mid game once, and that was the first map that we got to see, that first Bermuda that we got to see. Now it's just getting taken down, and like you said, they're not really worried about it. They can try things out. They have the points as well to support them, and they can benefit from games like this one. Right? Yesterday it was a lot more risky. You were playing against Fuego, who are just right behind you, so you gotta give everything that I got into the comfort strategies. But now taking advantage of those groups and the way that they have to face Group A and Group B and how they capitalize from it. So from Pizarro, it's going to be all about that information they can gather and study from.
Absolutely. Well, we have 3 games remaining on the day, but before we get to those, we are going to take a short break to let everybody reset, go grab a drink of water, and get ready for these final 3 games. It's been an action-packed first half of the day. I expect nothing less for the second half. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Understand a single word they're saying, but they like to run their mouths right into the ground. But we don't let it get in our heads. These ain't games we're playing, yet they try to break us in. But the line is running thin, so we won't let us burn. No, we won't let us fall. We'll rise up from the dirt, break down all these walls. There is no holding back from it. There is no harm. It's only living inside of your head. Don't you let it come crashing or shine in the dark. We're taking, we can't lose our minds today. Take our lives away. 'Cause feeling isn't in action when you're with me. Nothing can stop us. There's no taking us down. Running out ahead first and control us with the run of fire. Working in the dark to serve our own light. Making our own love. All we need is ourselves. We can be the heroes of the night. We can take it higher.
We work in the dark to serve light, hero of the night to take flight. Booyah. Prepare for a fight, it's on sight. Taking a leap of faith, playing the game of life. Fire in the skies, no surprise when we arrive. Arise from the ashes, champion battle maverick masses that clean up disasters. You're nothing compared to these assassins that stay lit from shadow casters.
Can you hear them screaming out your name? Telling you to fight, telling you to keep on.
I can hear them screaming, the energy is growing. We can't stop tonight, we gotta keep it
Can you
flowing.
hear them screaming out your name? Telling you to fight, telling you to keep on.
I can hear them screaming, the energy is growing. We can't stop.
Cause feeling isn't in action when you're with me. Nothing can stop us, there's no taking us down. Running out of head first and control us with the wrong feeling. Working in the dark to serve our own light. Making our own love, all we need is ourselves. We can be the heroes of the night, we can take it higher.
Looking past the war and all the warriors that we get lost. Battlefield of dreams full of teams wanna be the boss. Jump into a session is a lesson when lines are crossed. Impossible victory, unstoppable, probable, logical. Locking you into view when we shoot. Don't jump, don't be a punk, yo. We taking this route, we small, we cool. We can never hide the truth. We the leaders of this life, the heroes ready for the fight tonight. You'll do what it takes, what's at stake is fortune. It's beautiful place without a trace of creed. You need to escape, a legend in these days is town walking. You know the name they talking, I move around like I own it. Cause this is home for the moment. Show face the conquer, new world. You'll do what it takes, what's at stake is fortune. There's more worlds to be open.
That countdown was way off. Hello, everybody. I'm Porosaurus, and joining me once again is Dryad. We have 3 games in the books, 3 more left to play. But before we get ready to go in, we want to remind you to make sure that you log in to Free Fire today. Right now. Go do it. You log in. Get your Creed of Fire Peak Day and get a free P90 Metal Wing skin and the Brotherhood pin to complete your Assassin's Creed collection. So make sure, go log in right now while you're watching. We've got a couple of seconds before we do get into that game 3, but so far it's been 3 bangers really so far, Triad.
Yeah, and all of them being played in very different styles. I want to say we got I believe it was the second one a little bit slower into the early game, not a lot of action happening. But this last one here in Kalahari, it was all about action, all about those duels that were happening from one team to another that were trying to give them the victory into the last second. But we still have one Kalahari, so there's still one more chance for teams that like to be very, very good at this map.
Yes, indeed. It felt like it was everybody trying to play around Virus, holding that high ground, trying to see what they could do to engage in those fights while being third-partied or fourth-party from Virus, who was up on the hill with the scope. So it was just
Yeah.
just absolutely brutal stuff for everybody in that lobby. But we'll see what the next game decides to bring us. But as you said, 3 games so far, 3 different winners. Now, yesterday we had 6 different winners in 6 games. Could we see the same thing here today?
Maybe those top teams that we've been keeping an eye on, they haven't gotten a booyah yet, so it might be the chance for them to bring it up and to all those strategies that they can be practicing as well for them to be a little more consistent, give them all the way and take them all the way until the end and all the way to the booyah that they want to get because why not more points? I mean, anyone wants to take it.
Well, especially when one of the heaviest hitters in the lobby has kind of had a slow start today. Pizarra not really showing that same dominance that they came with yesterday here today. Maybe taking things a little bit easier, trying different things. We're not 100% certain, but I'm guaranteeing you that there will be at least one game where Pizarra shows you what Pizarra can do, and maybe it'll be this next game. We are ready to get into it, though, as the screen has gone yellow. That means the plane is in the air, and this is it, our final game on Kalahari before we switch over to Purgatory.
The last Kalahari and the last one, the positioning that we saw Virus being able to take, that is something that you definitely don't see very often. That is something that you cannot account for every single time. So now their playstyle around it is going to have to play a little bit different. Not everyone gets lucky with those zones every single time. That was a chance for them, but it is what they can do now in the normal early game that we've seen from them that has been very interesting. I believe it was the second map when we got to see Bermuda, them being able to get some value into the early game. And I believe, I mean, they can definitely do it again. They can maybe get they can get a booyah here on the side of Atomic, potentially. But again, we talked about PSAR. You're going to be landing here very comfortable. Not a lot of testing that is going to take place for them early on. I say that though, but be a little bit of big drip and what and how far they can get this time around.
Yeah, it looked like Big Drip may have wanted to have a little early game scuffle with Pizarra, but they end up pulling away. Also worth noting, OG, for the first time today, is getting to loot by themselves. They're all alone. They're not involved in an early game fight, so we'll see if OG, well, I call him OJ because Jay has been the lone survivor that's been making it out every single time, but they're not having to deal with that this time around. So nobody really having to deal with that this time around, as no hot drops have gone on, but that northeastern side still pretty packed here. A lot of teams really, really close to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a lot of teams, IT as well, and TK might be the ones that contest each other first, but again, there's also a big drip, so any point, we're looking at the northeast side, and the action that can take place, everyone knows, like you said, kind of spread across map, looking pretty comfortable, not really taking any duels early on, so it can maybe be a little bit of the different scenario that we got to see into the first Kalahari, where it was so much going on, the first fight that took place in the first 2 minutes. Now a little bit more of the passive style. Everyone is playing for themselves, playing for the team before the duels take place.
Yeah, looks like TK has kind of group together, and they're starting to head up here towards Pizada once again. Well, oh my God, Doma Dios. You can't do him like that. Just immediately gets him on first shot. They get Zutu as well. TK, they just crept up on here. They thought they wanted this, but almost instantly, completely wiped out.
That has to be a scary start for everyone else as well. Right when you see Pizarro in the kill feed, you start to get concerned. Oh, maybe this is the game where they start bringing those strategies that have worked for them over and over again. This is something that you do not have to want to deal with. Pizarro, look at that. The contest as well. The aggression to make that one work out, and they just make it happen. I mean, they have absolutely no fear.
Plant the flag in that, man. Doma Dios gets a 3-piece off of that. Now look at this. IT official hears the gunshots going off in the distance. They had to see the kill feed. They know exactly who that is. And they are just kind of peeking around that wall to see if they can maybe catch Pizada lacking here. But we got another fight looking like it might break out here on the cliff sides. Atomic and Dual Kings very close to each other. Keep in mind also VG right above this as well, so they could get involved if they start hearing things start to pop off here. Well, that probably came as said. That's very goat-like. I don't feel like that's Skyrim jumping around this mountain here a little bit.
I'm just looking at it, surprised that they're not just falling from it, but I guess whatever works. Contesting the high ground as well, something that teams want to commit on early on. And it's going to be Atomic actually trying to contest it once again. I mean, it worked out last time. They can get away with it at the end.
Oh no.
Trying to run away. It's not going to be the case.
Yeah, you thought you were going to be able to pull that off, Bobby Camus. Unfortunately, he goes down as well, and I believe that's now Faircho and Oscuro still alive for Dual Kings, but Faircho's still right on top of everybody else. Will try to trade back, will go down though. So now Oscuro, the last player up for Dual Kings, so he has been able to retreat over to the Bayfront, so will survive for now. But that's 3 in the bag for Atomic. And now we've got another one squaring up here as Pizarro and IT. We were waiting for this fight to pop off, and there you go. Jam gonna get the opening knock on a Bebeto.
Ooh, a couple of trades here that can take place, but it's going to be Pizarro all the way on top, managing to keep the team alive, managing to keep everyone for as long as possible. DL, the one player that everyone looks up to get those kills, has been able to do just that. Will clean up the entirety of IT. We get eliminated second here. No more chances for them into this one.
Well, there you go. We said it coming in, Pizarro. No matter how bad they might be doing in the early game, you can never take this team for granted. They will always show you that they can turn it on at the drop of a dime. And so far, 8 kills now for Pizarro, complete control over that northeastern side of the circle. Meanwhile, Big Drip, Skullbreakers, looks like they're engaging a little bit in a fight here. Big Drip tried to get, looks like they tried to get the back duo over to Montana and Domi. Montana and Domi, meanwhile, just going to have to pull off of this. Wrap back around. Big Drip gets to reset here a little bit as Skullbreaker's just holding down the hard cover.
Linda seconds as well. They can do quite a lot. Big Drip is going to be taken down, potentially 1 by 1 here. 2 down already. And it is just a disaster for them. Such an open area again to run around and just cannot get away with it. So 3 of them get taken down. It's only up to Luffy to try to get that rest, try to get that revive for the rest of the team.
Ooh, unfortunate there for Big Drip. Weren't able to get that full reset. And as you said, Luffy now all by himself, but he's got DN right on top of him. He's going to have to play very, very silently or maybe try to escape. But it looks like he's been spotted out. Yep, the glue wall, the only thing keeping him alive right now. And there you go. Big Drip is taken down. That will be our 3rd team out of the lobby. The first team that hasn't been taken out by Pizarro.
I like the way that this map is playing out too. It seems like a lot of those fights are a lot more clean. You're not bound to be third party in a lot of scenarios. It's just clean fights that take place and take members 1 by 1 until there's no more chance. We saw Big Drip as well, going from all the way on top until right now getting eliminated, while everyone else able to look pretty comfortable. Try to see what contest is going to take place next. That might be Atomic. Looking very close to the middle.
Yeah, DN kind of making a wrap in the same general direction here. We'll take that zip line up to the top, but unfortunately, this trap has been sprung as Atomic will find 2 immediate knocks and flushes. Venva and Bad Boy now the last 2 up. Venva has that high ground. Bad Boy has about 2 HP left, and there it goes. Rosero will be the one that spots him as now VG has decided to get involved in this one, and now Venva just has to try to stay alive for as long as possible. It looks like VG going to turn their attention over towards Atomic. So the glue walls saying it's keeping everybody alive for the time being, but it feels like it's just a matter of time for Venva here.
Yeah, the last one here, and so many scenarios where you're just keeping all the hopes on your last player, but the positioning is just not really in their favor to allow the scenario like a comeback to happen for a team after everyone is back alive. So unfortunate for them, it was Atomic playing pretty aggressive, and now and it just goes back to Atomic and Virus and how close they are at each other as everyone starts to surround them a little bit more.
Worst thing for Venva here is that he can't even escape that tower to try to go and revive his team because he's surrounded on all sides and everybody knows exactly where he is. So kind of out on an island here. Meanwhile, 1A trying to push in. They're going to run into 9D again. 9D pushing in a little bit farther, closer towards the refinery this time than they did last game. LPTM will get knocked down. Looks like they should be able to get that res, though, and will, in fact, do so. The grenades coming in from White. Not going to find any knocks just yet. White, though, has that high ground, taking the shots for free down towards Ghost, but he is getting shot at from, I believe that's OG off in the distance, taking shots towards 9D when they're kind of tunneling in on this low ground. And 9D, actually, they're just going to make the push.
They want to play aggressive, and you see everyone trying to take that low ground positioning even more, trying to stay alive into this one. Might not be the case. Those glue walls, though, doing miracles for this team here in 98. Like the aggression, like the commitment into this fight.
Oh, they will finally find Ghost. 1A has been very hard to kill here so far for 9D, and they're fully committing to this push. It's taken them a little bit longer maybe than I thought they thought it would. Brady will go down eventually to Steph Gray. 1A will keep LPTM alive, and he will have to escape over towards that western border. Fortunately for him, the circle does pop, and it will cut off to the west, so he can just kind of wrap around, stay alive for a little bit longer. While OG, they were taking shots out of range here at 9D. It looks like they're still finding damage onto Shakal.
I want to see this one playing out as well. OG from the distance. The last game, they got taken down immediately. Now managing to stay alive. All members alive as well. And that can do quite a lot for them. Have been playing a little bit passive, just observing everyone getting taken down from this distance. With them being a little bit more hesitant to engage and just waiting for the right timing to do so.
Yeah, we're getting to see a little bit of mid to late game OG. Something that we haven't really gotten to see a whole lot since they were very much committing to those hot drops, trying to get kills early. It wasn't working out, so they decided to switch it up for the second half of the day. Got to respect it here. Meanwhile, Skullbreakers and Virus going to be scrapping on the top here. Blue walls are down. Time Turn is turning around everywhere. I believe it's just down to Cuba for Skullbreakers. He's got a grenade in hand, though. That could be deadly if it finds the mark. It's going to go just a bit too far, and now Virus will collapse on him to clean him up, and that is it for Skullbreakers. Clean stuff from Virus Gaming.
I love to see it for Virus Gaming. Really nice play into this one. We saw how many kills they got into the first Kalahari. They might be able to just do it again. It's a good start. It's a good mid game for them as well, as the zone is just getting smaller and smaller. And look at that. Everyone here forced to move. It's only 9D in the zone right now in a good position to work with. And BG as well, this side of Virus, they have been contesting and playing aggressive as well.
Oof, Pisada coming in from that north side. Looked like they got caught Atomic not paying attention or not looking over in this direction. They end up cleaning up 3 of them. Arreo, the last one alive, and Pisada now just cleaning up, adding more kills to that point total. They have spotted out Venva, I believe, out in the blue. The glue walls will come down and try to keep him alive a little bit longer. He'll drop that campfire to do a little bit of healing. Hops in the vehicle, but no, you're going to get picked off. Jam will be the one to do the honors. That's 12 kills now for Pisada.
So many that they got early on, and so many that they continue to get as well. All team members managing to stay alive and making things so stressful for anyone that comes close to them. As we see, the next opponent for them might be the side of OG, might be the last member as well for Atomic, who's fighting to stay alive into this one right in the middle of the fight. I don't think he can get away with it. Nope, gets taken down.
Yeah, OG now kind of in a tough spot. They were using this hard cover to get in this peak battle with Club 9D from range, but now Pizada has just perfect oversight over all of them. They're shooting them through the windows. You can see the bullets just bouncing around everywhere as Daly will try to see if he can maybe find a little bit of an angle here to return fire. Not going to find any damage just yet, as it looks like Pizada actually going to send one in the middle, and they're going to find they're going to jump right in the middle of VG. So maybe a little bit of an early scout there on Pizada's part. Now Westby gonna go and join him.
I want to see. I want to see how this
send.
is going to play out. The information that they're able to get into this one for Pizarra to keep the team alive is so nice as well for them. They're definitely committed to get this booyah, and they're going to give anything that they got. They might not have the high ground, but high ground isn't everything for them. Those grenades can connect very nicely into the enemy.
Somehow Ideal managed to land right in the middle of all of VG, but still managed to break away from them and stay alive. So Pizada still 4 up, 13 kills in the bag already. They know they've got DK just off to one side. Also the problem of VG. Well, now DK has got another problem to deal with as Skullbreakers, or I'm sorry, Club 9D rather, making that wrap in from the south side. You see Papacamus, Obscuro, and Nieto have those shotguns all in hand. You can hear the grenades blowing up all over them, but nothing finding it just yet. Papacamus will make the hard peek, do a little bit of damage, drop the time turner. Doesn't get the knock, though, for his troubles.
Where does DK run? They're pretty much completely surrounded here. They can get away with a couple kills as well, but one of them already taken down here, and the damage of 3 of these teams being so close to each other is only as significant of KO's 3 kills as well on the other side. The damage as well that can be done so early on. Pizarra managing to stay alive, all members, and this is something that the teams around him don't have.
There's a lot of fighting going on right here. Pizada just gets to kind of hang out on the outskirts and take shots of whatever. Oh, Joan actually going to find Jam, though. And that might actually open up a door here for Club 9D. They are already making that push over into Pizada, trying to see if they can take him out. The glue walls will keep them alive. Will be able to get that res back, as they are just going to try to chop through them and see if they can find something here. But they're going to find a lot of guns waiting for them on the other side. Chakal will go down. Time Turner will keep Joan alive as Club 9D trying to reset this fight against Pizarra. Good grenades coming through, but they're not finding the mark just yet. And now Club 9D, Steph Gregg finds that alternate angle. Will find Westby, gets that knock. Domadios Ideal still alive here, but the push from Club 9D, it's so far working out really, really well.
The push that seems to be working here. I love to see those globals as well, making a couple members stuck in this tunnel, but also being a really good way to protect yourself right when you need that healing, right when you need those revives that we got to see early on as well. But what really matters the most here, when having only 1 member alive, 1 member remaining into this one, DK as well, not looking too hot after what we just got to witness. So it might be Pizarra getting away with this one too. I say that though, Adiel, and they are going down.
Oh no, Virus now, 14 kills. Are they they're about to go back to back on Kalahari. They've got 4 alive, and they're just getting the third party everything that's happening here. They're going to clean up Pizada. They've got 9D and DK that are fighting it out inside the ruins right now, and actually LPTM from 1A still alive, actually collecting. Oh, nice grenade from Grozero. I mean, I feel like I've said that about 15 times today, though, as Grozero has been hitting these nades on point all day. Joan will go down, and it is back-to-back victories for Virus Gaming.
So many kills. This is a team that is amazing at getting kills, but also getting those booyahs, just like we saw 2 now for today, and being able to adapt a lot more. I love the wraparound that the teams got around Pizarra. Just made it unable for them to do anything else and to get farther, but at least this is the most that we've seen from them today. It is a very nice performance that they were able to show very early on. The strategies as well that enable them for success so nicely, but the so when it gets so close, the situation gets so chaotic. There were 3 fights taking place into this one to guarantee it.
Just a giant stack of kill for Pizada here, and if nothing else, it's just reasserting their dominance on some of these teams in the lobby. In particular, IT Official,
Yeah.
who just got absolutely blasted. But you know, in the end, Virus, they drop Refinery, and you know, it's not something that we see a lot of teams fight over, but we see a lot of teams win playing out of Refinery. So I'm kind of surprised to see Virus just getting to kind of free farm from that spot over and over again. Nobody really contesting them at all.
The no contest has also been one of the names of the game into a couple scenarios for teams where there have been some maybe top 4 contenders for each map that have gotten all the way until the end, and it just has been playing a very passive game until they really need to engage into those fights. But I mean, nonetheless, look at that Virus Gaming. They're just getting better and better the more that we get to see them today. 17 kills for them. It is a complete teams that they're taking down.
I mean, it's absolutely huge for them. I mean, Virus came into the weekend, I think, in 12th place, and getting these back-to-back games. We'll have to take a look at the overall leaderboard, but it has to be getting them closer, if not already breaking that 8th place cut line to try to get that free pass into the grand finals. But so far, I mean, 2 fantastic games back-to-back from Virus. Everything kind of laying out in front of them. But again, you got to say, Bizarre, 14 kills, 20 points overall. I mean, they when they flip the switch, it is just a terrifying thing to behold.
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of kills as well, it's kind of a big difference. But you look at Virus, you look at Pizarro, and it's okay, 17 and 14 average. And then you look at everyone else and you really question and you really have a good sense of the dominance that these two teams are able to put in a lobby like this one. Even though Pizarro only got that 5th place, the kills really say everything and give them pretty much that 2nd place alone with those points. And it is points that they're just pretty much farming for free. It's points that they're getting away with in every single encounter that they get from just knowing when to engage and when to play aggressive. And this is honestly characteristic that we've seen for Virus, for Pizarro. It's the not having fear on pushing into the enemy and committing the shotguns, committing the grenades as well for something that is going to benefit you the most at the end. So it's super nice for them. Once again, top 3 out of those kills is gonna be going for the side of Virus. The last 2 Pizarro. It's just the way that this players, everyone here individually has been able to perform has been absolutely insane. That was a really nice map to watch.
Absolutely, and it's also fun to see the boys from Virus, Grozero, Kamatron, Victors collecting more kills for themselves. There you go, 76 points overall on the day, 2 booyahs for Virus Gaming to go along with those 45 kills. A great performance from them so far here. As you know, kind of looking down the leaderboard a little bit, Club 9D, you know, they were in 3rd place overall coming into today as well. So they add another 47 points to their effort. No booyahs on the board just yet, but they've been consistent throughout the day so far. Atomic as well, kind of up in that top 8 part of the leaderboard. A little bit of a slower day here today, but they're still consistently getting points, and they're still constantly adding. They were not seeing any 0-point games or 1-point games out of these guys. They're constantly putting forward decent efforts.
Absolutely. And the mid game more than anything is where a lot of these teams are having so much difficulty capitalizing from different angles and different high grounds how we see, and it's just really planning ahead for those grenades that are coming in the way that teams can, of course we saw quite a lot of glue walls into that one, but sometimes a little bit more is going to be needed. And yeah, there we get to see a big difference Virus Gaming as they get away with the boyas, they get away with the kills as well. Into the end that we see early on, we talk about early on, but things get close and the mess is something that seems to be overwhelming them too much and they can't get far enough.
Yeah, look, Virus has been doing absolute work with that refinery position on Kalahari. I mean, the 11.3 average kills, 5K, over 5K average damage, and 19 points. That's fantastic for them. But what I want to see is, can Virus do it on a map that's not Kalahari? Can you, without that high ground, without that refinery position, let's see you try to get some more points here in the closing games. We got 2 more to play on Purgatory. There's definitely room for Virus to kind of make a little bit more of a climb here and really secure themselves in that top 8.
There's absolutely a possibility here as well for those that haven't gotten the booyah today. I love to see the variety. Honestly, I'm a fan of seeing the 6 different booyahs going to different teams. Just shows how flexible and how many things can
Oh
happen,
yeah.
how many factors that we can consider into a game and into maps like this one as we go into Purgatory. And we get to see again the leaderboard 420 that Pizarro is able to get here.
There you go, Pizarro. They did the meme number. Good job.
Nice.
All right, nice. And then actually, you know, you looked at Fuego. Fuego had a pretty decent lead on Club 9D, pretty decent hold on second, and now Club 9D, with their consistent performance so far here today, has managed to close that gap quite a bit. Pizarro still almost 100-point lead on second, so I mean that just kind of goes to show the crazy day that they had yesterday. But you know, again, first through eighth, it really doesn't matter where you finish. It's just as long as you're in that top 8, that's when you get to qualify for that next phase, that grand final position. So you know, all is well and good for Pizarro in terms of coming in first. That's great. That's definitely something you can hang your hat on. But you know, it's what can you do now that you've got that point lead? Can you try different things? Can you switch up your drop spots? Can you try to put yourself in bad situations and see if you can fight out of it? This is the kind of things I would like to see from Pizarro going forward. But I mean, and I feel like we've seen them do that. So it's just this last game, they just dominated everybody in fights. So clearly the team fighting still there.
Absolutely, the team fight as well. As we get ready into a map that we haven't gotten the chance to see before, it's going to be the Purgatory, and what it means for a team is it seems like both for what we got to see for Virus Gaming and what we got to see from Pizarro, they had slow starts for different reasons here and there, but into the last one, they are absolutely warm up and ready for the fight, so it might be something that teams don't want to contest too early on.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it works out. I mean, A and C yesterday were fighting early and often, tooth and nail. I mean, there were multiple hot drops going on all over the map. Today, it's kind of been the opposite story, where we had a couple of hot drops early on, nothing that no full
Yeah.
team wipes really, and then even last game there was just nothing at all. So we'll see if Purgatory delivers anything different. Actually, it looks like it will, as Club 9D and 1A will find each other once again right off the drop. Although it looks like 1A maybe want to just pull off of this completely right off the bat.
You know, and I like this taking a little bit of distance, but they might not be able to do just that in time because the guns can do everything into the game. And 1A already losing one member, the kills start to take place, and a lot of early action that 1A they didn't want so fast.
Yeah, I mean, respect to them. I mean, they managed to trade back at least to get the knock. 9D
Yeah.
now kind of pulling off and going off to the lumber mill and leaving 1A to their own devices. But 1A should be able to get that revive eventually. I mean, it's not, you know, the worst thing in the world. It won't be the end of the world here. They are wrapping over towards the west, though, and Dual Kings is looting up just on the western side of this island. And then you also have DN that's kind of right over there as well. So meanwhile, Skullbreakers and TK looking like they're pretty close. Skullbreakers kind of rotating over in this area like they know that TK is here. They know that somebody is over here, and it looks like Skullbreakers is just trying to be aggro here in this last couple of games.
They're going to be pushing in for what it seems like, trying to get a little bit of information to you of where the enemy is exactly going to be spotted, but a lot more space can be created in between, and maybe something that teams have been aiming for. Again, a lot of teams that haven't gotten used to the early fights, the early action that can take place, and that a lot better, they can do so much better into the mid action, the mid game that we get to see very often. So maybe one of the strategies here, but more than anything, the loot that can help them out as Skullbreaker, just looking for the right time to hit.
Well, and here you go, 1A. We were worried that this might happen. They were wrapping over towards the west. It looks like Dual Kings managed to get vision on them as they were doing so, and they will spot out Ghost. The glue wall will go down. I'll keep Ghost safe for the time being, but Poppy Kane was landing the shots from range. They are hitting, and unfortunately for Ghost, nobody on his team really in a position to provide him any support, and he's just gonna have to sit here and try to escape with whatever he can. There he is. He finally gets taken down by Oscuro. They tried to trade shots back. Actually, just a pretty decent damage onto Oscuro as well. So Ghost not going down without a fight.
Like those some teams, they try to disengage for a little bit, and some individual players as well. They try to go for that disengage, but the minute that you're trying to do that, it's more time they're getting shot at, more damage that is going your way, and more time than that you're going to be need to be fully healed to properly go into that fight when the entirety of your team is going to be ready. So because of that 1A, they lost 2 members. You still stand a chance here, but you know the DK is trying to spot them, is trying to look for them once again.
And you can see there just hunting around, and Brady is just off to the north, is hiding for 1A, just kind of avoiding DK for the time being. Now LPTM has already managed to escape, get across the river, and it looks like he managed to avoid the line of sight of DN. So at least one member of 1A is safe for the time being. We'll see if that remains the case for a while. Actually, it looks like they were able to buy the res here, as Lurin has now spawned back in for 1A as well. And over here on the ski lift, you've got IT Official and a Big Drip on that low side of the ski ramp. No shots coming out just yet, so I'm not sure if they've spotted each other.
Doesn't seem like has been the case, but should be just a matter of time here. This is a fight between the two teams that we already got the chance to see before, and it's a big highlight with those grenades and what they can do, how much value they can get into this one. Some information here. The Google as well trying to keep the team alive, but on the other side, nice shot there. Big Drip. They lose 1 member here. Can get a lot more. The grenades can connect to the last kills remaining into this one.
Well, they managed to drop a couple of glue walls, at least enough to get the res onto their knocked player, but Sanji will have to pull back down here, as he did definitely let the man know that he spotted him. Good shots coming out from Domi, as Luffy will actually get the knock on Abeto. They're gonna have to stop down, get the glue walls down to try to go for that res here. In the kill feed, you can see Skullbreakers. Looks like they are running into trouble of their own on the other side of the map, but IT rather, managing to get at least 3 out of here. I'm not sure where Bebeto is. He might have been flushed out, I believe. Yeah, he has been. So IT now down to 3 as Big Drip holds this high ground position.
Skullbreaker being the first team here that gets fully taken down. No more chances for them, as an interesting duel as well that took place. The one that we got to see action from early on here, Big Drip against IT. And the protection they can take and can allow them to stay alive, even though 1 member down for IT can do it. It can be the opening the Big Drip has been waiting for.
And Big Drip was so fully committed off to the north on chasing down IT. They managed to miss Club 9D sliding in, and you can see them climbing up that ski lope right underneath their feet. She'll be okay for the time being, but there you go. 3 teams kind of right on top of each other inside this ski lodge as we wait and see where everybody else decides to go. This is the eastern part of the circle. Nobody else really kind of creeping over in this direction, with the exception of maybe Dual Kings, who are still out in the zone making a long wrap. But there you go. 9D just going to push right into IT Official. Beto will open it up with the shots. MVP 9. Sanji will find 2 knocks immediately. 9D down to just White and Steph Gray. They will trade 1 back, I believe. Actually, did IT just take out one of their own guys? I think they might have, as there's down to 1. I believe it's just Beto.
Oh, and that means that, only Beto is going to be the one alive here for IT. Solo as well, trying to get the rest as well. Not going to be possible either. Going to be 90 getting away with the kills, getting away with everyone on the side of IT getting taken down. And that's a goodbye for IT into this one, into this game at least. So 90, I like the way they came out of nowhere, right? The entire conversation was Big Drip, was IT, and out of nowhere we saw that positioning that 90 was trying to take and how much it worked for them, allowing them to get some nice kills, connecting, and a positioning that still is still being contested by the side of Big Drip, who just managed to run away from that one.
Yeah, it's excellent response from 9D as they pushed right into IT Official's face and actually took a few shots from him right off the bat, but were able to turn things around very admirably and end up winning that fight. And here is now Pizarra has spotted out Atomic, and this is going on just off to the west of center of the new zone. And here come the grenades as Dax is going to find Jam right off the bat. Immediately gets the knock and the flush. And here comes the push from Atomic. Grenades are still coming out, but Pizarro is repositioning, moving around, trying to get themselves out of the kill zone of that interior where they were just waiting to get grenaded. And there you go. Colado will get spotted out by West B with a shotgun, gets the knock, gets the flush. It's a 1-1 trade so far between Atomic and Pizarro. West B has now been spotted out by Dax. Will have to drop the time turner to keep himself alive for the time being. And now looks like Atomic will try to pull back here a little bit and reset. Domadios, nice, dirty off angle, will find one. Adil will find the second. And now all of a sudden, Flo finds himself all by himself as Pizarro turns this fight on its head.
That is absolutely insane from Pizarro. The way that they adapt into the fight, they lose 2 members early on. They're able to bring everyone back alive, and they're able to get with the kills when they needed the most. Now it just means the Flo is the last member alive for the set of Atomic into a fight that looks so intense. I like the comeback. I like the glue also as well. The placement for them just seems to be perfect for them. As yeah, there's going to be a risk. Everyone here on the side of Pizarro be able to come back alive.
Club 90 trying to move out of their spot. Look at that, Joan. A nice little angle. We'll find Domi. And you can see in the kill feed, yep, he's out getting the res onto Jam already.
Everyone back.
And Joanne, Jones still on that high ground. We'll find a nice little angle on the other side of that glue wall. Is going to give problems to Big Drip here. Domi has been flushed out as well. So it is 3 now up for Big Drip. Joe needing to be careful. Not wanting to leave himself too exposed on the side of that mountain. No backup from his team as they have all pulled back into the hard cover. And now he's going to try to make his way in. We'll take the shots from Luffy, but should be okay trading glue walls and time turners. And yep, okay, he's good.
I like how the fight, or like the tension for this point is still going on between 90 and Big Drip, and the way that they've got an idea for sure of how close they could be to each other, but not close enough to engage into that proper fight, which is keeping both of them alive just for any sort of benefit. On the other side, Flo, again, last member alive into everything that took place between Pizarro, going to try to go for the rest, going to try to bring the team back. It's such a risky positioning. No one close around though.
We haven't gotten a chance to really talk about it, but what a shift for this circle. It shifted hard to the north.
Yeah.
Away from Scotch, away from pretty much everything. It's just going to be a big mountainside here. You can see VG already kind of putting themselves in that position. They have high ground here. They're the first ones to really claim it. And Victor is still kind of looking down there, seeing what they could spot out. Nothing just yet, but got to imagine this position is going to be very, very good for Virus. Once again, they're coming off of back-to-back wins on Kalahari. Can they make it 3 in a row on Purgatory?
Virus is so good at positioning themselves into a situation like this one right at the end, right when all the chaos is about to start. They're able to set themselves up quickly, but it's just sometimes it gets over their heads and things can happen very fast. But because of that, they were able to get to Boyas, can get a lot more. The zones, not the best positioning to be in. Everyone here getting taken down in 1A. Yeah, we get to see in the kill feed here, everyone eliminated, and that is going to be DN. But no more members live, and the tension here to run, get into the zone just in time, but Pizarro is just waiting for them.
Oh, Pizarro is just going to clean them up. I think 1A down to just one player. I think Brady, the only one to make it out of that, as it was kind of mutually assured destruction there between 1A and DM on that on the very edge of the circle, and they will end up going down. Club 9D now pushing that last member of yeah, they're done. So okay, now taking shots from Pizarro, and now VG using that high ground spot. They've spotted out TK trying to make their way in, but it is just nowhere to go really for TK. They've got a little bit of a ridge line and a tree to hide behind, but I mean, Virus can just sit here and rain bullets on them all day long.
TK here in really a nightmare positioning, like I said, only a tree to hide behind, and it just doesn't seem to be anomaly due to remaining gets taken down. That is another team as well, as Pizarro continues to get the kills, sure, they're not in the best positioning, but because of the way that the circle has been moving around, it's also forcing this out of Virus out of that positioning that they had, out of that high ground, which means it can be a nice duel to take for the last 4 members, the 4 squads that we have remaining. Flo, never able to get the rest, just able to adapt or try to adapt around it.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Pizarro, they had good position. They were able to kind of take the shots over towards TK and steal those kills away from Virus. But now the circle repositioning, forcing Virus to leave that high ground. Pizarro will take some damage from Club 9D. So some heavy hitting teams left in this lobby. Club 9D already 10 kills on the board, down to 3 players. Pizarro, I believe, also now. Nope, they're back up to 4. Okay, so they're good. MC to Flo, the last one alive, and he's going to be a pain to dig out of here. He's got the glue wall set down. He's just trying to be as obnoxious as possible. The shotgun push comes through from Victory. Still hasn't been able to finish him out just yet because Flo just keeps dropping the time turn. Eventually, finally goes down. But this is kind of a problem for Club 9D because it kind of opened up a door for Pizarro to make a push here.
So Pizarro on the other side, they're able to spot it. Seems like the side of Virus gaming from the distance. There's a couple of trades as well. They're going to start to take plays into this one, but it might be Virus gaming able to get with more amount here. A deal down. The kill leader that we get to see over and over again will not be anymore, at least for the next couple seconds. And it's a very long range duel that is starting to take place into this one. The damage as well, and the commitment for the C teams to get to the top.
Oh, this is rough. Virus, the only team really even kind of inside the circle, and they're just on the edge. Both 9D and Pizarro are going to have to move here eventually. You can see they're trading knocks back and forth, but no flush is coming out here as Edurez is finally finished off. So Virus will lose one. As the biggest problem here for most of these teams is it's just wide open. There's no real way to make this push without just kind of transferring between glue walls, and you can see what's happening. Domadios puts a perfect glue wall to protect him from Virus, but that just opens him up from 9D side.
Absolutely, the best protection here that you can get is maybe the trees, maybe the glue walls as well, but none of them are in an ideal position to benefit anyone here. A grenade, a very nice grenade as well, NVG. 2 down for Pizarro, make it the last one here. West fighting to stay on top of this one, but now it's just all about VG again.
I swear, I think Grozero's probably had about 10 grenade kills here today.
Wow,
West B will find the knock on to him, but they should be able to get that res and reset here. The zone is at their backs, though. 9D down to just White and Shakal using these glue walls, getting very, very close, trying to see if they can maybe get within grenade range, and it looks like he will do so, but the grenades coming out from Virus will be nicely counted right into Camatron's lap, as Shakal will actually get the knock with the sniper rifle, and now we're down to a 2v2. Shotguns, time turners, and glue walls, that's all that's left. Shakal will try to see if he can take this one away, and he does. Actually, Victor will be the one that does it. So Virus, 3 booyahs in a row.
Very nicely done here on the side of Virus. I love the way that they played into that one. It got risky, but it was 2 teams remaining. It was them, and the way they engaged into that one, not really hiding behind those glue walls anymore, but pushing forward and knowing that they just could catch the enemy off guard into the last scenario, get the last couple kills that were needed, and even those grenades were not able to connect to everyone in time. So another booyah here the Virus gaming is able to get. And I mean, the kills that we saw throughout the map were already insane.
I mean, that was always going to be a brutal late game, right? The fact that there was just nothing really to play except for a rock and maybe a couple of trees and the zone right at your back, and you know that all these guys still have plenty of grenades left to use. So it was just really a kind of a pleasure to watch Club 9D doing everything they needed to do, dropping the glue walls, getting within grenade range, throw the grenades towards Virus. Virus don't stay still. They drop the time turners, let them bounce off, but immediately realizing the fact that they have to make that push with shotguns. Both teams kind of playing that perfectly. In the end, it just comes down to a 1v1, and Virus ends up getting that victory. Really, really well played there by Victor.
Absolutely. It's so nice. And I love the last three teams that were
Oof.
remaining. It have been the teams that we've been talking about nonstop just because of the kills that they're able to get every single time. They seem to be so clean. They take one 90 right when they needed the most to get that boy to get those points. And once again, not as many kills as Virus Gaming was able to get into the last one as they were able to get into that second Kalahari, but it's still very nice. It's still going to be 11, and it's still going to be that booyah going for them. So everything, all the points they can expect, continue looking very good for this team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be ecstatic with that performance as they every game like this, every double-digit point performance is just going one step further to securing that spot in the top 8, securing that passage to the grand finals, and 3 booyahs in a row. That is quite the statement to make for Virus Gaming, especially in a lobby that contains Pizada Esports, and they're winning these battles at the end in the late game. There are fantastic grenades from Grozero all day today, be it thrown by hand or with the grenade launcher. Everything he shoots just seems to find its target, and it's been absolutely devastating for these teams that are trying to take on Virus.
Absolutely. It's so many kills as well that they get, and it's throughout the game, right? It's not only what we get to see at the beginning, but also at the end. Like the that perfect duel that we got to see as well be between 90 and themselves. And even Psar, who were looking so strong, but things happen sometimes, unexpected things happen sometimes for them. So no booyahs for Psar just yet. But the kill's still looking pretty good their way, and it was a little bit more even all around. It's a lot of 4 kills that the squads were able to get, and a lot of variety as well for who is getting them too, right? We usually talk a lot about individual players getting the kills, but it seems like for these teams, at least today, has been a very well-rounded performance.
My. One game left in the day, and Virus Gaming is almost set for a over 100 point day. That is absolutely brutal. What a day for them! As like we
Yeah.
said, with still one game left remaining on to Purgatory here. And you also got to talk about the turnaround for Pizada. I mean, after 2 games, they were in dead last. They had 3 points in 2 games, and then even after 3 games, they were only in 11th. And then after the break, we came back, and within 2 games, they've now hopped all the way up to 4th place. This team is absolutely insane.
The adaptability for teams can do so much, and it's something that Pixar is able to show us all the time. It's sometimes having slow starts, sometimes getting taken down first, but the way that you come off from that, and it's got to be on the stronger side for this team every single time. And it's crazy, you know, because we've been set up to have such a strong perspective and beliefs for what Pixar is able to do, where even if they get taken down first, we know that it's still going to be the Pizarro that we know, and still going to be that team that is always capitalizing for kills and always able to get some really nice games going their way. So it's not something that we're worried about. It's a consistency that they're able to bring back to the table. And it's also consistency that we've seen for the set of virus throughout today. 3 of those boyas now going their way. Could get even a 4th one, potentially.
Oh man, dare we say it? Can they get 4 in a row? Well, they've got 4 booyahs for this group stage altogether. 3 of them they have gotten here today, back
Yeah.
to back to back, and that is just a fantastic performance from these guys so far. 1 game left. We'll see if they can add even more to their point total, or can they add even more to their booyah total? Can they get a 4th one in a row? I don't think I've ever seen 4 in a row. That would just be nuts. I don't know if
I
that's possible.
wonder, yeah. There's absolutely a possibility for that one. And it's so nice because before today, we saw a squad for Virus that was able to get multiple kills game after game, but it seems like it was lacking a little bit more of that consistency, and it was lacking those booyahs, right? Like you said, 3 of those 4 that they got have been today, which is absolutely insane. So the way that they're having such a good day is going to play into them. It's potentially so much more, but we got it.
Well, we've got 1 game left to go, guys. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be very exciting as we figure out who will finish on top of the leaderboard after this second day. We've still got 1 day of groups left to go here tomorrow as well, and then we've got another weekend to go as well. So lots more Free Fire group stage left to play, but only 1 game left here today as we see everybody flying over the map of Purgatory. Where is everybody going to drop? Are we going to see, now that we've gotten to our final game, okay, it's kind of tradition that the 6th game is almost a little bit more wheels off. Everybody gets a little bit more loosey-goosey. Everybody gets a little bit more willing to push into fights. It's been very calm for the most part here today. Do you think we'll see maybe a little bit more fighting here in the last game?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something that I'm looking forward to seeing. I said it before. I'm a fan of those early aggression pushes that we get to see from teams. It's so nice as well, and it sets everyone up for success. When you get a little bit of confidence going, it's a nice factor to take into account, that the synergy that plays into confidence, and the confidence that plays into fights that you're able to take in a way that you're willing to take aggressive positionings, and you're willing to play aggressive against the enemy team. So a potential one here, because we see going to be Skullbreaker starting potentially to get some damage done against what we see from DN.
At the end, going for a wide split, they do manage to get looted up here inside these warehouses. Skullbreaker's not finding the angle just yet. Meanwhile, it's like another fight going on here between TK, 1A, Club 9D, everybody dropping over by the lumber mill down by the river. And so far, Club 9D, I believe, has lost 2. Yeah, they've lost White and Stevgray, so it's just down to Joan and Shakal. As looks like Joan has managed to escape Shakal, though still kind of right in the middle of everybody here as 1A and TK starting to push into each other. Good to see this from TK. It's been definitely a little bit of a slow start for them, slow tournament for them, really. But seeing them take this aggressive stance, try to say, you know what do we have to lose at this point? Let's just go for it. And hopefully they'll find some success here.
Just going in as well, knowing that you can at least get a couple of trades still beneficial for those teams, especially they haven't been doing too hot, but the team that has been doing hot is still looking pretty strong. We saw 2 kills as well coming in for the side of Virus, and the action as well for DN taking place. We talked about it early on. It was the first duel that we got to see, and it's one that's taking place from very, very far away at the top of the mountain going on the side of DN, and now is having to drop, is having to play a little bit more before once again going for those blue walls and going for Skullbreaker, who's still hiding behind them.
Yeah, Venva, no glue walls to use. You can see he's got a very empty inventory. He was just kind of breaking line of sight using the terrain here more than anything. He's lost his partner in Elian, but it still looks like he's still wanting to take this fight. He's going to try to take the flanked angle on the Duro. Venva causing problems for Cuba and Duro right now. And now Bad Boy and Patojo looks like they found an angle from the low ground here. And now Venva will find the knock on a Cuba. We'll get the knock on a Duro. This man had nothing. He had 2 guns and that's it. And he wins the 1v2.
Oh, very nicely done here. And now Skullbreaker just falling apart, breaking down as well for them. It seems like over and over again, there's this same player remaining. Is Palunki fighting for his life, fighting to stay alive into this one, go for that strat, for that rest mechanic that we can see being implemented. But no squad's taken down yet. Just a lot of damage that we got to see early on, and 90 and Skullbreaker suffering the most.
Yeah, we do have a couple of solos in Joan and Palunki, and then you've got OG down to Feverful and Pain after they ran into Virus, as you said, up near the Moat House. And now DK is going to run into Patojo as DN, after running down Skullbreakers, they turn it around and they're finding themselves in a fight with Dual Kings. So far, some damage done onto Gayu, but a glue wall will allow him to heal up, and I don't believe DN really wants this. They're kind of split up here.
It's a split that we've seen a couple scenarios, but you don't want to risk too much, because of the last player remaining that we see for a couple squads now. It just has so much pressure to take, and has so much pressure to keep the team alive. OG, once again, the only one member alive, and for the duel that we got to see a little bit on, it's DN, who started strong, but the straights made the situation so much more difficult, so now they have to play passive. as we get to see the next fight that can take place, and it's gonna be like we see Big Drip waiting for the right time, and they're definitely going to spot them now.
Oh, that is an easy knock and a flush onto Brady. And now 1A, Ghost has a tree to hide behind for the most part, but the rest of his team starting to pull back towards the river to see if they can maybe reset a little bit. Big Drip, I think, reading that, trying to make that push. Good shots from Montana. We'll get the knock onto Ghost, and that is the cover man for 1A. The Ghost's only job was to prevent the push from Big Drip, allow his teammates to escape to that river. And for that part, he succeeded. His teammates were able to escape. The circle has popped. It is going down towards the west. It looks like it's favoring that western island more than anything. But 2 kills now for Big Drip.
2 kills here then, and the pressure that we see, I feel like we've seen quite a lot of duels, but not enough damage for what I would like to see more than anything. The 90 and the school breaker here that took place, and they're still managing to be very close, but with 1 member each here, and 2 with the rest is hoping for something more, hoping for a proper fight, as the circle just happens to be exactly what they are. So pretty comfortable positioning for them, and everyone else that seems to be on the right side, seems to be on the east side, having to move, having to deal with quite a lot that we see in the southern eastern side. We see TK, we see the side of Big Drip as well, just falling behind, and maybe the third party that can take place from that.
Yeah, the crazy thing about this is we've seen all this early game fighting, right? But no team's completely out. As you mentioned, a lot of solos, a lot of duos, but a lot of reses could be found here. You look at Palanque for Skullbreakers trying to make his way over there, trying to avoid 9D. 9D was down to 1, and they've got all their reses back up already. So, you know, OG, they still have a shot here with Feverful way up on the north side. Nobody else really up there. DN looks like they've got everybody back up again. They were down to 1, so a lot of reses coming through so far. Meanwhile, Pizarro is going to run into Dual Kings. They're going to open things up by getting the knock on Nieto. That will be immediately rezzed. Poppy Camus will get some damage into a deal. Grenades will come out, but won't find their mark. As Oscuro has a nice little flank angle. Will be spotted out, though, and we'll have to stop down. Oh, that's a good grenade.
Oh, there's so many grenades going around. The duels as well that are trying to take place, and third party as well. We see Atomic trying to position themselves into this one too, and running around them so quickly. The time turners that we get to see all around in a fight as well. That Pizarro is trying to get ahead. No kills so far. The pressure that has been set.
Oh, and look at this now. Atomic, here's all this going on. They're going to take shots into the backside of Dual Kings. This feels really bad if you're a Dual Kings fan right now. They are completely pinched down. Gelato will try to go for a low flanking angle. We'll spot out a deal, do some big damage, but won't get the knock just yet. DK somehow still alive throughout all of this. They've only lost Poppy Camus. And look at Flo, just going to send it right in there with the vehicles. Atomic wants all of this. They are just sending blind in, and Flo has no idea. He's actually going to win the 1v1 against Gyu. Almost gets Yeto down as well. Ascuro is just trying to escape for DK as Pizarro is just repositioning and avoiding the grenades being sent here from Atomic.
These are all members alive here, so it might be a chance for them. Now they have the information that Atomic, they wanted to play aggressive, they just might do that. The kills start to come up. Atomic getting a lot of value from the position that they took early on from the car as well, that allowed them to get inside right when they needed to, but the aggression as well we continue to see into this one. And Pizarro, we're trying to get trades right and left, but still not guaranteed. The victory is still not going their way. The rest as well, everyone trying to come back.
This is absolutely insane to me. Somehow Oscuro managed to escape. They were pinched. Dual Kings was pinched from both sides by Pizarro and Atomic. Somehow Oscuro, the slipperiest man alive, managed to escape that and get down to the revive point, and he might be able to bring all his team back as this fight's still playing out here between Pizarro and Atomic. And now IT Official has found it as well. They've heard this shots going on, and they're taking shots over in this direction as You can see Atomic down one. They've lost Abreu. Flow right on Jam's doorstep. Tries to use the invisibility. It works. We'll get the shotgun down, and we'll get 2 knocks onto Pizarro. I believe Adil, the last one up. Domadios, is he still alive? I'm not sure. No, he's gone as well. So Adil did manage to escape, so he might be able to get some reses on his team as well. This is insane.
Yeah, this is the most chaotic game that we've got into today. Absolute insanity for all teams, and the decision making to engage into those duels, into those fights as well that are already taking place, are keeping teams alive for longer. But now, this is when the action can take place. The more that IT gets to hear, the more that they want to engage. There's going to be a grenade. Nothing yet. Nothing that has been able to found, but the glue wall as well not being able to protect the teams enough. And IT here is ready for the fight. And is he ready for the last engagement?
Just game 6 things. As I'm looking on my mini map, and it looks like Adil just managed to get the res off. His entire team is back. Pizarro is back up to full strength. They're dropping, but there is nowhere safe really to drop, and they are dropping with nothing except for pistols in their pockets. IT official has managed to clean up what's left over here on Marble Works, but the north side still, Virus is up there. OG Feverful managed to get 2 of his teammates back up. Jay and Daly now back alive. And the south side, Dryad is insane.
Oh, no.
Look at this.
Yeah. There's so much going on, and I still cannot believe we haven't seen a full team getting eliminated yet.
Nobody's out yet.
It's just insanity for this one. There's at least 1 member alive for each one of the teams. Even the first one that we got taken down, I believe it was Skullbreaker. Lonky is still managing to just hide from everyone else while all this action is taking place, and a lot of reses as well that are being played very smart. But like you said, that southwest part of the map is just absolute insanity now.
We finally have a team that is completely eliminated. The first one down is going to be Atomic.
Yeah.
They are the only ones so far, though, as they're still, Skullbreaker still has Palunky in this. He's not been able to get the reses back up, but you can see him just hanging out on that western side all by himself. Club 9D, meanwhile, now has spotted out Big Drip, or rather Big Drip spots out 9D as they'll get the knock and the flush onto Steph Gray, but immediately the rest of 9D is right up on top of them. Grenades are coming through. Flashbang will get him knocked a little bit low here as Montana will have to get res. Luffy has gone down here. The push from 9D finding some success, but they are going down as well. Johan will find Darylin. He'll find Montana. Joan is doing some big work for Club 9D as Domi now the last one alive, and you can see over the top TK is seeing all of this, and they're shaking shots back down in. Joan will clean up what's left. Domi will clean up Shakal. Darlin will get flushed out. 9D down to just White and Joan, but the damage has been done.
The damage here has been done in the KOs as well. 4TK managing to stay alive and managing to play around here very, very smart. Should be able to find the last members alive. Should be able to find that res is trying to take place on the side for Big Drip, trying stay into this one just for a little bit longer. Domi, the last one here, and on the other side, the action, like I said, the south part, it continues to be very, very chaotic, but everything in the north is still has the potential to get the same level too.
Oh my gosh, somehow Domi managed to give him the slip. DK completely lost him. Did not see him running out. Okay, now they spotted out Domi. Yeah. Can he make it to the car? No, he's going to get taken down, and that's going to be Big Drip eliminated. Skullbreakers also goes down as Pizarro managed to find Palunky and take him out. So Pizarro did lose 1. They are down to 3 in the process, but the fact that they were down to, I mean, they were one of several teams that were down to 1 that have managed to come back in, and this is, I mean, this is game 6 insanity at its finest right now.
It's insane that for so long we got to see everyone alive, everyone fighting to get those revives, and they were able to do just that. Like you said, Pizarro being one of those teams, the only one that you don't have right now is Jam, but they still have a good potential as well into this fight that it seems like could be 3 or 4 as the zone is getting so small and everyone is going to be on the left side.
I feel like there were so many revives in this match. There's going to be so many points shared amongst all these teams at the end of the day, as we see TK in a little bit of trouble. They're getting shot at from the high ground. VG, meanwhile, Kamatron has been spotted out. He's going to go down to the play zone. Got knocked very low by IT official, but the play zone does the final tick of damage. Now Virus rather, using that glue wall to push in, using the grenades, not finding anything just yet. IT official doing a good job of avoiding, keeping happy feet, not letting themselves get taken down by a single well-placed grenade. But Grow0 is the danger man. We've seen it happen so many times. That could be another one. Yes, he will. He'll find MVP, and that'll be the sign to make the push. The glue walls will go down. Grow0 and company not wasting any time trying to push forward, but so many glue walls being set down by IT official. They cannot get past them. And Grow0 now the last one up, but he is doing big damage here as IT official is getting picked to pieces. Sanji, the last one up.
There's so many of those last one apps that is happening for these teams. There's so much into it too, in a close range and in a sign where Virus can also get away with the kills. What is going on as well inside of this very tiny area? Those glow walls sometimes might not seem to be enough. 2 more here that Virus Gaming is able to get. Still a close fight.
I mean, at some point, Pain and the rest of OG decided to make a push in here to see if they could get any kills off of it. Somehow, IT official manages to get all those reses up. Good job by Sanji, be that support player for the rest of his team. But the Pain gets him with a mine. Oh no, he was not expecting that. Grow0 finds Pain. Grow0 is on an absolute killing spree. 6 kills so far for him, 9 in the bag for Virus, as they are not done yet. Grow0 very, very low. It's going to be Victor that's going to have to make the push here, as IT official just keeps getting knocked after knocked after knocked. But Beto has now gone down. Finally, Grow0 will get spotted out by Sanji, but Victor is still in there trying to see if he can find him. More glue walls will put a pause on things as we take a second to reset. This is absolutely nuts.
It really is. I mean, the glue walls are the only time off that we get to see, but after that, it's all the destruction as well. Now, it is not going to be Portis Boyas going for the side of Virus. The last member for their team gets taken down. Victor, that was fighting for so long and doesn't have any possibility anymore, as the next fight is already taking place. DN in some shots from a distance, being able to see it live for quite some time here, but the zone is getting very close, and it's only 3 teams managing to stay on top. IT only have 1, doesn't have anywhere to run. There's a trade. That is going to be it for EP.
Sanji gets the knock. Somehow that grenade does not find DN. That looked like it was right on the money. But DN managing to get the res onto Bad Boy. They'll get to reset here a little bit. Back up to 3 strong, 10 kills already in the bag for DN. If they can clutch this out, that would be absolutely huge for them. They could use all the points they can get here. As 1A also in the same boat. It seems like 1A, 3 kills. They're one of the few teams that wasn't involved in all the insanity going on this southern side. But now here comes the push. Lurun will open things up. Won't get the knock just yet, as the zone is slowly pushing him out. Are they going to try to trap him inside with the glue walls? They're going to do so. Lurun will find one, immediately gets traded back though, and this could be 1A winning it as the zone collapses. It's a heal off. Venva, can he get the heal in time? It looks like LPTM's going to go down. I'm not sure who won it. I have no idea. It was a heal off for the end. I don't know who won. It was 1A. We're getting confirmation. 1A wins in a heal off in probably the most insane game that I have ever seen.
It's absolutely one of the craziest games that we've gotten the chance to see. There was so much to talk about. I mean, for the longest times, teams barely managing to stay alive, but the action was always taking place. That we never really got an off time. We never really got a time to breathe for them. It was the glue walls again. If anything, that was the only downtime that we got, because everything else was action. It was a lot of trades taking place, and it was at the end getting the victory to this team for a couple seconds to guarantee it to happen.
I mean, I am beat. That was some nonstop play-by-play there. I feel bad. We hardly ever got a chance to talk to you at all, Dryad, but it was just nonstop action from the jump.
Yeah.
These guys, when it comes to Game 6, man, it seems like all bets are off.
You never really know in a scenario like that what is going to happen, and I can't believe that when AA are the ones that get away with it at the end. It was just absolute insanity from beginning to end, and it started with teams kind of getting close to each other. We saw, like we see right now, 90, and we saw a Big Drip as well, kind of teasing a contest that was going to take place. But on the other side, and on the south part of the map, all the action started taking place. That zone just really enable it to happen.
That was the crazy thing about it, wasn't it? Was that we were seeing fights take place early, but there was always that one player that managed to escape and managed to go back and try to get the revives for the rest of his team, which made it to where when we finally did get to the late game, when the circles were collapsed, there were so many players all over the place that it was just a matter of time before all of this action was going to kick off. So just, I mean, absolute insanity. 1A does get the victory. They will get 17 points, 5 kills for them. But look at all the kills up and down the leaderboard. I mean, 12th place Atomic got 6 kills.
That really says something about this map. I mean, you look at the scoreboard, you look at what we have right now, 12 plays still with 6 kills. It has really a statement to prove it how even it was and how long it took for these teams to fully get taken down. It was a lot of the aggression, but also the smart playing that we got to see for those last members that were alive. We saw it for Atomic, we saw it for Skullbreaker as well, for Big Drip for a little bit too. Just managing to stay alive long enough until there was so much pressure. It was a zone getting smaller and smaller, and knowing that you're just going to face an enemy zone from some point at any second that they had to phase into the one. But yeah, 1A to get away with it, 17 points for them, and in action and the kills that were absolutely non-stop for this match.
That was wild. That was a wild experience, and congrats to all the teams that managed to collect a nice little stack of points off of that one, because it's not very often that you get games like that where you get so many teams fully resetting and so many more kill points on the board. But DN definitely kind of using that to their advantage, managing to get 11 kills and 20 something points despite not getting the booyah. But you see Bad Boy and Venva both with 4-piece. Grozero's just had himself a hell of a day here today. I mean, it is just between the grenades, the beautiful grenades from him, the 3 victories in a row from Virus, another 6 kills here in the final game to round things out. Grozero has just been absolutely monstrous today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a player, like you said, and I think you highlighted really throughout the day. The grenade kills that were happening were absolutely insane. That just requires so much of that game sense and those mechanics to know how it's going to land. So that is the most amazing thing to watch the side of Virus Gaming, for example. And this is something that Virus Gaming needed so bad. They needed that good performance. They needed those good kills and those points to push them all the way at the top. I mean, there were, I believe, 12 before today, and that is where we see the flexibility for the how much good they can do to a team like Virus Gaming today. I mean, absolutely insane. They got over 100 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. And the fact that they're now sitting just 2 points shy of 300, you got to feel like they're feeling very confident going into tomorrow, where they will be playing again. I believe that's going to be C and B tomorrow to round out the weekend, and then setting themselves up for next week. I mean, still have a lot more Free Fire left to play, but if you're sitting at 300 points, sitting in 4th place overall, and you're trying to make top 8, you've got to be feeling pretty good about things after this week. So we'll see how they'll sit after tomorrow, after this 3rd week is wrapped up. But again, you can't be upset if you're Pizzata. You've had they're done for this weekend. They've definitely made a statement for sure. Club 9D as well in 2nd place overall, looking fantastic. And even IT Official coming in and taking a top 8 spot. They're feeling very good about themselves. As far as the rest of the Group A guys, Skullbreakers, OG Wipe Gang, Big Drip, even Big Drip. I mean, they were sitting below that 20th place cut line, and now they've
Yeah.
got a win. They managed to jump into 17th. They're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, as long as you're not under the 20th spot, you're good to go. You're locked for the last chance qualifier. So it's just managing to learn from games like this one, learn for from days like today, and see how to stay consistent and how to stay around those spots. It's a positioning. I know we already mentioned it, but we are more than halfway through. So it's just a matter of having more consistency with those kills that seem to be the meta right now. Seem to be all about getting kills early on, going for this rest, trying to come back, and going over and over again to benefit your team the most that you can. Because there's only 2 days. We have the rest of this week, and then next week that is going to qualify for the last chance qualifier, and those mid table teams that need to stay consistent.
Absolutely. Well, that tells a story right there, doesn't it? 3 players from Pizzata in the top 5 of overall kills. Adil, obviously, just having himself a hell of a group stage so far. But now Grozero, after today, has joined that top 5 with 67, taking second place overall. Scott didn't even get to play for all the games yesterday for Fuego, but still holding on to a top 5 position. So, seeing Pizzata, this is the dominance that they've been displaying so far throughout this entire group stage, or just writ large right here throughout these overall kills. So, over 400 points now total for Pizzata, is feeling very, very comfy, but still, they will get to sit back and kick their feet up and watch tomorrow's games with great interest, I'm sure.
And you can learn as well just from watching those games that take place when you're not playing, and the positioning, the drop spots for everyone. That we're an interesting thing to point out today, because it just seems like it was two different things going on. A very slow start for teams, not a lot of action early on, and compared to this last game alone, that was just the complete opposite of things that can happen and that can take place in this game.
Game 6 is quickly becoming my favorite game of the day, to be honest.
It's so fun.
All the games have been delivering so far here today, and I'll tell you what, tomorrow when we come back, those games are going to deliver as well. So make sure that you tune in once again here tomorrow at the same time to watch the next set of groups play. But for now, I have been Porosaurus. She has been Dryad. Thank you so much for joining me on the cast, and thank you guys so much at home for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.